Thank you. In a man of highest character and the noblest genius, there is to be found an insatiable desire for honor, command, power, and glory. But we always are glad to interact with our students on such platforms, but there's something different today. I can see our students carrying a great confidence, smile, pride, and then a glimpse of glory. It seems like they have endured a battle with the wind. And endurance. Endurance is not just the ability to bear a hard thing, but to turn it into again glory. It takes years of preparation for a moment of glory. Every placed student of SISTec is a living proof. We all have congregated here to appreciate, admire, and cherish the success stories of their heroes. We already have some sublime problem sessions during the first half, the event by the experts of Microsoft, Google, and Digicomm. And before we proceed with the second segment of the event, a bit paradoxical to begin. And paradoxical I say because we are having here a showstopper of the placement activity of SISTec, a person of repute, very meticulous, very alert. I call upon Madam Prachi Srivastava, Head Corporate Relations, to give an outline of the event.
Good noon, SISTec. On behalf of Sagar Group of Institutions, I would like to welcome Joshua David from Mphasis, Tanima Mitra from TCS, Chandramohan Atre from Tata, KPMG, Ekta Tech Mahindra, Shamit Tiwari, HEG, Kalasutru Ranganathan, and Mr. Abhishek Thapa from NextLink, Akash and Priyanka from ISC Golkar. Our Honorable Managing Director, Sagar Group, Siddharth Valsar, Director, Dr. Jyoti Deshmukh, Principal SISTec, Dr. Keshwin Chaudhary, Principal SISTec R, Dr. Manish Pilore, Principal SISTec, Dr. Kuldeep Ganju, Vice Principal, Dr. Swati Saxena, Administrator, P.S. Kushwaji, Heads of all departments, faculty members, trainers, my team members, and of course, my young professionals. We are gathered today to celebrate your D-Day, your day of success. It's been 4 years. Seems like you have just entered in the college. See how time flies. Some phases in the college life never changes. Be it admissions, be it your attendance, be it assessment, canteen talks, your bunking periods, running for placements, and now heading for joinings. SISTec has given you all. You also have to agree with me when it comes to push you towards your career path. Right from your TG, your heads, your trainers have always hold your hand. They are still holding you. The point to focus, they are and they were. And to a new chapter of your life, into your professional life. You always have to believe that in this particular journey, somebody was there who was assessing you, who was pushing you, who was training you, who was interviewing you, and who was recruiting you. The real hero of your first placement journey. And you cannot spell your hero without HR, right? So once again, I would like to applause for our heroes sitting right here, the team of human resource managers and directors sitting right here and just joined us to celebrate your success. Once again, Sagar Group of Institutions welcome you all here. Let's begin the show.
Thank you, ma'am. And to continue with, I speak of a person for whom we all hold a high regard, a scholar, an administrator, a guide, and sometimes a pal. And I speak of Group Director, Sagar Group of Institutions, Dr. Jyoti Deshmukh, to please come on stage and share words of wisdom.
Good afternoon to all of you. SISTec Glory is an occasion to feel proud of ourselves. Let's feel proud for our students' achievements in terms of placements. I must congratulate all the students for the glorious placements you have achieved till now. Beside magnificent placements, today we are also celebrating the completion of 4 years training cum placement journey of our students. As a head of SISTec family, I welcome to all the HRs of our eminent recruiters. Dear students, I want to congratulate all of you and as well as your hard work that has resulted in the extraordinary achievements. We all are proud of you all. On behalf of you and your parents, I want to thank to all the teachers, trainers, head of the departments, as well as those who have directly as well as indirectly worked in shaping your career at SISTec. My appreciation to all the members of our corporate team who have found befitting at SISTec is not a matter of one semester, 1 month, or a week, or a day, but it's a long journey, rigorous journey of 4 years that prepares you professionally, equipped with relevant education beyond curricula, and complete know-how of industrial practices. Our guests must be very anxious to know what's there in our placement-oriented training that consumes 4 years. So, for their interest, let me give a glimpse of this. The process is indigenously implemented right from first year. Language development, personality development, as well as body language, being the most vital part which makes them firm to stand firm in the corporate world, has been made an indispensable part of training program at SISTec from the first year. The entire chronology of technical content and pedagogy is so designed that the students get a balance and blend of theory, practice, and skills at SISTec. The skill-oriented training then becomes an inseparable part of the training module. Once the students get accustomed with the subjects, they undergo project learning, project making, industrial training, and industrial visits multiple times, leading them to real-time exposure and experience of the industry. Company-specific trainings are yet another vital feature of SISTec training program. As per the lineup, which have been done by the corporate team of the companies, the students are trained for specific pattern, syllabus, skill, and technology, helping them for pinpoint preparation and better chances of selection. These trainings are structured as per the branch and, of course, as per the company. To sum up, we have been able to create and maintain the training-based ecosystem at SISTec, which helps our students acquire not just any job, but the job that suits them. And that's our USP. I'm sure all our guests would appreciate the additional efforts that have been put in by the SISTec team in the
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Can you move this up? I'm going to call the man up. Available now, as it has always been, only for those with great vision. We are very fortunate to have the one with us, an entrepreneur, an industrialist, an educationalist, a philanthropist, a visionary, and the list goes on. Should I very humbly take this opportunity to request Mr. Siddharth Sudhir Agrawal, Managing Director, Sagar Group, to please come up on the stage to guide us.
Good afternoon, students. It's a really moment of pride for all of us. It's a wonderful gathering, a very proficient gathering in front of us. I will take privilege in naming all of them, our beloved guests, that they have taken out time, and especially time on weekend from the corporate world. For SISTec, it's very tough for you, but then we are really thankful to you that you took out time for us and for our students. Mr. David from Mphasis, Ms. Tamina Mitra from TCS, Mr. Chandan Mohan Athri from Tata Steel, Mr. Devendra Mishra from Hexaware, Mr. Vipin Timari from Ernst & Young, Mr. Manish Pandey from KPMG, Ms. Ekta Divedi from Tech Mahindra and our alumnus. That's the biggest highlight in her designation for us. From the round tables to the front row, we really feel elevated when some of our alumni is back to our institute from Netlink. We are really fortunate that you took out time and are here to discuss, to deliberate with us. My team of principals, Dr. Keshavan Chaudhary sir, Dr. Manish Bilore sir, Dr. Kuldeep Ganju sir, Swati madam, Dr. Jyoti Deshmukh ma'am, my placement team headed by Prachi Srivastava madam and backstage team, Sharad and Mayank Nema sir, my training team, Mr. Badal Bose, Anish sir. It's been a wonderful journey, SISTec. SISTec is very young. Yes, it is the most correct time of the era where SISTec should have been. I would start my quote with, you must have all heard from Jeff Bezos that 21st century belongs to India. And we have just passed only 22 years, not over 22 years completely, also only 21 and a half years of 21st century. I guess the average age of everyone sitting here, all these students, barring the first row, should be around 20 to 21. Am I right? Yes, sir. In corporate world, just era belongs to it, would be at the most correct time. And I am happy to see that we are fortunate ones and the gathering here are entering into that market at the correct time as a professional. This COVID be it one of the most difficult times for everyone, but has proved to be a blessing in disguise for India, especially for all of us as a professionals who are engaged directly into the manufacturing world. I think my thought would be seconded by our friend from Tata Steel. Indian manufacturing has gained the repute it should have gained way back after the pandemic. Indian manufacturing now is now the manufacturing for India. It's the manufacturing for the world. Why engineers or especially Indian engineers would do good in future? There are two reasons to it. If you see, if you go back 200 years back, Europe was the manufacturing for the world. Why? They had technology, they had brains, they had manpower, and they had market. They were producing, they were consuming. So they had a strong ecosystem. Gradually that shift happened, and everything from Europe, it started shifting to Asia, and then it concentrated to China. China became the global manufacturer, manufacturing each and everything from a nut bolt to the aircraft for the world. Why? A big population, a strong work culture, had technology to innovate and copy everything and proceed further. And they did fantastically well. We should not, there can be a lot of dialogue that can be made against China, but they did really well. I think if we start noting down in this room, we will find thousands of things which are originated from China. So until and unless they manufactured, we could not have led such a comfortable life. So they did a wonderful job. But now things are changing. Now that shift is happening towards India. India would start reducing its or the population degrowth will start, and then we will start aging out. So amongst this 21st century, this period of 2020 to 2055 is being looked as the best period for the Indian economy. Economy would perform well post that also, but the growth rate would be best in this time, these 35 years. And we all of us who are in the age bracket of say 20 to 50 at this point of time, who are in the profession right now and have another 20 to 25 years of professional life with us minimum, are best placed. Be it a lateral, be it a fresher, be it a freelance consultant, we are placed at the right time. And the positives about India is we have really good brains, really hard-working brains, the most disciplined people, especially when we go out, very good work culture, then very satisfied people, and the most important thing, we can produce each and everything for our own consumption. That's the whole idea about being Atmanirbhar. That what we produce, if we can consume that, we are untouched or we are immune to any kind of global disturbances. And the best part that has happened with India over the last few years is now we have started consuming the top quality products. एक जमाने में हम कहा करते थे ये इंडिया की क्वालिटी है ये एक्सपोर्ट क्वालिटी है but now that difference is finished. Whatever we consume today is of global standards. Indian standards are now matched with the global standards broadly. So all these macro principles should make us very confident, first of all, that we are at right place, in right scenario, in right conditions. So we should not have any doubt that SISTec or any other engineering college in India or any other engineering pursuit in India is wrong place. We are at the perfect place, perfect time. So first of all, be happy about that. That's the most important thing our engineers or our budding engineers require, to remain happy so that they can focus and decide upon their future. Now, to come from this macro to mini, how is SISTec working and how is SISTec trying to draw advantage from this overall dynamics that's happening across the globe? As I have a lot of friends sitting here from the service sector industry and the manufacturing industry, how the corporate sector works. They work on the process. They work on the aligning the process, streamlining the process, making the systems lean so that the desired outcome, probability of getting the desired outcome increases to maximum. Suppose we have a manufacturing line. Let me put it from example of our own industry, textile industry. Our manufacturing line has a raw material, has a process, has a finished product. A lot of technology between that. Our raw material is a natural fiber. We do not have control on that. Similarly, you all students are the natural product. Product out of nature. You can be X, you can be Y, you can be brown in skin color, you can be white, you can be black, you can be anything. You can be intelligent, you can be hardworking, but there will be a lot of diversities to it. So we consider a lot of diversities as a natural phenomenon. You are a natural product. What is SISTec? SISTec is a process line. What is the SISTec Glory? It's celebration of outcome. So if we classify this whole education system or the engineering system as a simple manufacturing line, you were raw material for us 4 years back. We were process-oriented people who were a bit experienced, and today what we are celebrating is the outcome. So on the natural product, we can just fine-tune it. We can nurture it. But how? If we have perfect process. So in SISTec, we are driven by a culture wherein we try to fine-tune our processes. There can be n number of challenges, n number of inherent disadvantages of the system. We can blame a lot of things. But the bottom line is we have to nurture and simplify our system and make it as such wherein the success of our raw material or the beneficiary is guaranteed. We at SISTec, we believe our success is only guaranteed if we can guarantee your success. See, you are the user of the product. We are in a service sector industry with a process line mentality. So we bridge both of things. We have to give you an experience wherein after 4 years you feel that your decision was correct. You do good with your career for rest of your life, and we gain out of it so that we do it further better with the upcoming batches. Like someone pointed out here that Google committed to come to SISTec for the future years. So that's the improvisation. That should be the outcome. That should be the learning. So with every passing batch or with every coming in batch, we learn. We learn how to make our processes more efficient, more to the point, more immune to the global disturbance or the outside disturbances. And at the end of 4 years, my students, my SISTec students, become fit for the corporate world. And our definition of being fit for the corporate world is to give them a wonderful clean slate. My friends from corporate industry do not want students with a lot of existing ideas where they have to do undo and then do redo. They want a clean mind wherein it is ready to learn, full of good aptitude, full of analytical skills, can comprehend and quickly learn. That's what they want. So if we can do that at SISTec, I think there is no stopping. So all of these students, we have tried to do our level best, but definitely we cannot be perfect. With every passing minute or with every passing second, we are trying to learn. This event, today's SISTec Glory, is a celebration and a learning for us. All the HRs, all the people from the human resource departments, all the experts of the human resource, our desired outcome of this event is when we listen to you, we really learn. We get a guideline that how to tweak our ways to get a better outcome in future. So that's the SISTec all about. We call SISTec as a very straightforward institute, a honest institute, an institute with clarity of thought, a simplified institute. Example of a steel industry. They know in milligrams that in the evening they should have this much production. If achieved, perfectly fine. If exceeded, perfectly fine. If underachieved, then process needs to be corrected tomorrow itself so that we get the desired outcome. Somehow that accountability parameter cannot be established in the education industry. But we at SISTec are trying to establish the accountability parameters for the process, wherein if my 4 years journey can be divided on 100% divided by 365, every day I should achieve that bit. And that bit should be well calculated with a designated number. So that is all about SISTec. I congratulate all of you once again for flying out with colors out of SISTec. You may be fully satisfied, you may be less satisfied, but that's not the end. It's just the start. You have at least all the people of this age, you have at least, see 60 is new 40 these days. So if you go by that logic, you have at least 50 years of your career with you. So from today, you have 50 years. You will do great. I'm pretty sure about it. Why will you do great? Because you have wonderful attitude. Why do you have wonderful attitude? Because you come from a wonderful background. And Why am I so confident that you will do great? Because you are in the best of the times this country would have. So have a wonderful life, have a and a long-lasting relationship with SISTec. At the end, a big thank you to my team for diligently working for my students and keeping them before them in terms of being the first beneficiary what SISTec is. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Said, only in Rome is it possible to understand Rome. And what has to be understood are said into another line. One says, Rome was not built in a day, and the other, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. Now the yaksha prashna is, how do we Romans?
Anish, I certainly know the answer, but I think there are right speakers to answer this question because our beloved students are going to enter their own Roman empires, that is their own corporate lives. And with these words, I would like to call on stage our first panel of expert speakers. To start with, the moderators, Dr. Manish Billore, Principal SISTec Rajagul Campus, and Ms. Prati Srivastava, Head Corporate Relations. And starting with the guest, we have with us Mr. Joshua David, Campus Lead India, Mphasis. Mr. Vipin Savani, Advanced Analyst, Ernst & Young. Welcome, sir. Mr. Chandramohan Atri, TA Learning and Development, Tata Steel. Last but not least, Ms. Ekta Dwivedi, HR Business Partner from Tech Mahindra.
Right. So we are about to begin our panel session. The topic is how to be Romans. Well said, when in Rome, behave like Romans. What does it mean? Specifically, we are talking to our young professionals and we mean it. When in corporates, we have to behave like professionals. Right, Manish?
Yes, Prachi, you're absolutely right. And good morning, everyone. Good morning and warm welcome to our panelists for the panel discussion one. This is absolutely true. And when we were discussing about framing this topic, we thought about how one should behave while in corporate. So, as you all know, our wonderful panel to enter the corporate world. Now, I remember my first job when I used to report to a Japanese, and he used to tell me that first thing that you need to learn is Japanese. Second thing you need to learn is the Japanese culture, and that's how we shall have a better bond between us as a subordinate and the reporting authority. So that was, of course, way back in 1996, but still things are same. Rather, things have developed. And Prachi, you will agree to me that now India is going to supply to the world, as Siddharthi has mentioned. India is going to manufacture for the world. So nothing wrong if we learn all the world languages, major languages. Nothing wrong if we know and learn all the languages, cultural part of it. And therefore, let us start this discussion on how one selected student should know and learn the corporate etiquettes. So this is what the frame line or the outline of the discussion is going to be all about. Let's
I
start.
completely agree to it, sir. And as we understand, like, a number of platforms are available, so many learnings here and there. You are believing in learning, unlearning, and again, relearning. So I will open this particular mic to Mr. Joshua David. So start the topic of the panel. Over to you, sir.
Can I sit or? Okay, very good afternoon. Okay, Sagar Institute, how is the Josh? Wow, okay, so thank you so much for calling this Joshua. Also to this forum, thank you, ma'am, first of all. And Siddharth sir, you spoke whatever we wanted to speak, but at the end of the day, we also have some say. Over. Let me start with a small story which I always talk in Tamil, most of the regional people, but I need to translate that definitely in English because the expectation, what expectation do we have in the corporate world? Okay, till we are in 10th, our father and mother says, son, daughter, that's just one more year, 2 more years you need to study, and then after which you can fly like butterflies in the later point of time or in your future. And after you cross your 12th, you come home and you get into a college. And after you get into college, there'll be somebody like me or a lot of academicians will say, what have you studied till your 12th? You need to just erase it off because in college you are going to start the journey again of different topics or different engineering subjects. You get disappointed, you come home and you say, Mama, Papa, you told that till 12th I need to study and after which I can fly like butterflies. And in college, I just thought I just live my life. Right? Your mother and father will very quietly, politely say, okay, beta, another 4 years you can just study. After which you can fly because you'll join corporate. That's a beautiful glamour and all this stuff they will just say. And you will also study for 4 years like the way you did in your SISTec, right? 2 years at home and 2 years, I'm not very sure when did you hit the college, but you again came back to college. That's a beautiful thing one can always do in your career because 5 years, I know what I did in my college way back in 1999 to 2004. Okay, half the way, like ma'am was talking about bunking classes, going to cinema halls, because my college is exactly opposite the beach, right? So you can think how many people will be sitting in the beach and how many people will be sitting in the college. Right, 4 years we studied, somehow we cracked everything and we come home and making our parents proud. And suddenly, after all these things, you got your jobs, right? Today, people have all multiple opportunities. It's not one offer; it's all multiple offers. And at the end of the day, you will not know where to join, and suddenly go for higher studies. So we'll be waiting in the doors and see whether anybody is going to join us, and ultimately we will not have people to join us. That's a different story altogether. Now coming back to the story, and the first day you come and join your Googles or the Microsoft or the Mphasis or the Hexaware of the world, and people like me now is learning never stops. Learning agility. That is the first and the foremost expectation from all of you sitting here. Okay, I cut across all the service organizations. You can see my profile in LinkedIn, but I'm still learning. I'm still studying. I read a lot of Harvard Business Reviews. I read a lot of Forbes and Fortunes of the world. Why? Is because today, if I need to talk to SISTec, if I need to talk to Prachina, if I need to talk to Siddharth, sir, I need to have that language in me. Right? That is very, very important. And the next most important thing is whatever you've done today, you're all going to be a proud alumni of SISTec to the respective corporate that I'm going to join, right? So don't make yourself very comfortable. You're still in your eighth semester, if I'm not wrong, or eighth semester. So because you've got jobs, don't pull your collars and walk off on the roads, right? This is a very critical factor in your college life because the journey is going to start from the day when you got your offers. You have a lot of responsibilities. You need to crack most of the exams in your eighth semester, and then you need to be an employee of an organization, right? So, my dear friends, let me quote that: don't take anything for granted, right? Job offers have come to you, but still you're a student of SISTec. You have a lot of responsibilities. and also you need to take care of the one most important thing is you have your juniors. I also heard the third years also sitting here. You need to take the responsibility of translating your success mantra to them. It is not that I've got a job, I'm going to excel in my career. No, I'm sorry. I'm here to speak the truth. I'm here to speak on your face that this is your responsibilities to do. So, with all due respect, with Prachi ma'am here, I would respect all of you who have got your offers and pick 10 to 20 people, your juniors from this college, and tell them what your success mantra. My dear friends, it is not about pre-pandemic, post-pandemic. It is not about who you are as an individual, today who we are as a group, as a society. All right, so this is what we can talk a lot, but this is what I just thought. I'll just tell you, be compassionate to whatever we do at the end of the day. And we have fellow people to talk about it as well.
Thank you, Josh. Moving to Mr. Atri, we have already opened the topic, so let us have your views on how one should adapt to the corporate culture.
Thank you. Am I audible at the last row? Wonderful. First of all, this is my first visit to Sagar Group of Institutes. It's a pleasure to enter your gate. Everybody was so responsive. The building is beautiful. The people were smiling. They were greeting us so well. So the vibrance of this college is something that is really touching me. Thank you so much. The opening statement was about road. And when I see young minds at the age of 20, 21, I'll tell you a story about Florence, a city in Italy. There's a beautiful sculpture there. And when Michelangelo, the famous sculptor, when he was working on that block of marble, a small child asked him, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm freeing the slave. I'm freeing the slave from the block of marble." And today, that marble is an icon. The David statue, which still millions and millions of people come and see it every day. So, dear children, today when you're on the cusp of getting employed, it is the time we have to unearth a lot of potential that each one of us has. We have to make better versions of ourselves. Some of us have done very well academically, some of us have acquired a lot of skills, but now, when you're entering into a new era, this is the time which is going to define, like what Mr. Sudhir Agarwal said, the next 50 years of your life. When I started my journey in Tata Steel in 1993, I remember boarding the plane from Ambala. And I remember, I said, I have to make my parents proud. They've done so much for me. They've given me the best values. So you must have an intent, a story that you want to stand for the larger community. Today I was reading about your mission in the conference hall. It's very similar to Tata Steel. You want to create benchmarks, you want to create a center of excellence in technical education, you want to give back to society. That's something that I've been following as when I landed as a young management trainee in Tata Steel in Jamshedpur. And that ethos builds on. You know, this company or this organization that you've been studying in, this wonderful organization, it's about the culture. I was talking to the young alumni here while coming in the car. I said, "What makes you proud to be part of this college?" She said, "Sir, it's highly integrated. There's very high integrity. The ethics are very high." And I love these words. I said, if an alumni is talking about a college with so much of respect, this is something that will remain. When nobody is watching you, that is when you have to perform. It's very easy to be in the shadows and think that everything is going right. But now is the time when you actually have to put your hand up and get noticed. There will be many of you here who will be leading the pack, who will be inspiring a lot of younger college mates. But believe me, you're being watched even when nobody is watching you. Your parents can guide you, your teachers have been guiding you all throughout, but when you're actually getting into the role, people are watching you 365 days. And let me share a small incident with you. No job is small. When you start your career, you feel, oh, I was expecting a revolving chair. I was expecting a mall with an air-conditioned office. No. When I started my career, my first task, the assignment he gave me was to stand on the Choraha. It was a small remote mine in Bihar, and there were some DRM officials coming. I waited from 9 o'clock in the morning till 4 o'clock in the afternoon without water because my boss had given me duty that some officials are coming. You have to bring them to the iron ore mine. I waited for almost 7-8 hours without food, without lunch, and in the evening when I came back to the office, I said, sir, nobody came. He was very casual about it. He said, okay, fine, you've done your job. But I realized that little statement of his had not got noticed. He was noticing what intention do I have to do the smallest of job with integrity. And I remember when I got my first promotion, I got a visa to come from a small remote mine in Mandi to Kolkata. That was the reward that I got. They were looking at people with a great attitude. So all of you, we all have competencies. Some people are fantastic in communication. Some people are very good in daily management. Some people are very good in certain skills. But we must start honing our skills. Because like Mr. Joshua said, we are going to keep learning for this. Knowledge management is going to be a part of our life. So start working on it now. And as we go ahead, we will take the. I think a while that I worked, we can take.
So, very important tips that Raji, our students are getting this morning. In fact, in the first session also, Mr. Somsundaram said that accept whatever comes to you. And I think these two gentlemen have hit the same topic again. So, number one, lifelong learning. Number two, accept whatever comes to you. Never let any job be smaller. Don't feel like the job is a big one or a smaller one. Go ahead in your life. What are your views, Vipin? You are pretty young. You must have started your career a couple of years or at the most a decade ago. So when did you start your job? How did you feel? How did you face the environment? Can we have some experience sharing?
Yeah, sure. So, first of all, thank you for calling me. And as you mentioned that I have recently started my career, and this is my first visit to SISTec. And as Chandra sir said that it was that I completely agree with that. That no job is small. But the insight that I would give is that first of all, before taking a job, be clear in your mind that what you wish to do. Because if you take up something that you don't like and or like you're not sure that whether you will be able to do it or not, then you may not be able to go a longer mile, right? So I come from a background of family where there were a lot of government employees. I couldn't crack a government job unfortunately. So they told that take up a job that is just simple, a work-life balance is there. But I had something different in my mind. It was like I need some enrichment. I just don't need to come back to home at 5 and just do the repetitive task daily. So I need some enrichment in my life. I can't take up this job for a longer time if it's just repetitive in nature. So I took this job in 2020 in COVID in March. So what happened was that initially they put me into a project that was very going, but the thing was that it was slow. The clients were demanding that the deliverables need to be fast. They needed to be fast, and they were willing to pay for it, and the company wanted profits as well. So the thing was that I was leading that project, and there were people working under there. Generally, what happened in the company that when you are leading a particular project, they just give you a brief, like what the project is about and what exactly the juniors are doing. So like I couldn't have that best knowledge of what exactly the process is. So I figured out that if I don't know the process, I couldn't improve it. I went on to training with the ones who were actually working. I spent like 2 or 3 hours daily and attended the training apart from my working hours that were assigned to me. I did complete my task and then attended the training. So with them, I was like learned everything what exactly they were doing. to summarize, it was like there was a junior, you would say, or a personal which was experienced for just 1 year or maybe 6 months. So he was performing a job, and there were some seniors who were like 2 years or 3 years tenure. They used to check that, and then we used to forward it to the client, right? So client just used to review it and give us the approvals, and that is it. We are done. The thing here was, you must all have heard about a lean methodology. I'll just give a summary. The lean methodology is, improving the process, cutting out the waste, and if there is any repetitive steps happening in the process, just cut it out and improve the productivity, right? It's a Japanese methodology. So what we did was I like attended both the training, like what was given to seniors to check that project, and what training was given to juniors to work on that particular project, right? So I saw that the training that seniors are getting, the juniors are equally qualified to learn that thing as well, right? So I just removed the two training methods that were there, like give a check training to seniors and give a project handling training to the juniors. So we just gave a similar training to everyone and introduced a project. Like if we are talking about creativity, I named that particular project as Drip, right? So it was a full form as do it right for the first time. So he inculcated that feeling into the employees, like you have to do it right for the first time. Don't just depend on that someone that he'll check. So I'll just do it in a hurry and get my job done, and I'll go. Explain them that this is the enrichment that your job is offering you. Do it right for the first time. Gave them the training to check that as well. And with that, we removed one process. Like now there was no checking process, and we improved the productivity by just double. Because there were two employees, let's say, one was doing the job and one was checking. Now both of them were doing the job as well as checking. So we increased the speed, we increased the productivity, we reduced the extra step that was happening. You know, so that was the enrichment I wanted in my job when I started my career. So a simple methodology is be clear in your mind that what you wish to do, because what I believe is if you keep looking for changes, like you start off with something for 1 year or 2 years, and then switch back to something else, try it out, just hit and trial method is going on. So I believe if you are digging at a one place for let's say for a week, then you might get the diamond from the land. But just if you are digging for a day at different places, you might not get the diamond. So that is my methodology, and that is my advice to you guys, that decide what you want to do, get yourself into it, get used to the process, and love that process, right? So that would be great, and yeah, that is it from.
Thank you, Vipin. And I'm sure our students will definitely be getting all these messages. When it comes to corporate etiquettes, it means dedication, hard work, sincerity, and devotion to what you are actually supposed to do. Ekta, coming to you, you are actually able to see both of the sides. So being at SISTec and now being in the corporate world, you must be aware, you must have definitely attended one of the corporate trainings that we give to our students in multiple sessions all through the 4 years, particularly including the corporate etiquettes sessions. So, do you find this a befitting approach for the students to get prepared for the corporate world? Do you find that corporate world is not something very strange out of the world, and it's like us? So, no, not much of a difference between the college life and the corporate life when it comes to all these parameters like sincerity, hard work, and dedication.
I can say Ekta is the best example because before some years, Ekta was one of them. And as Vipin said and stated, like that clarity of thoughts, the consistency of work, the switching of brands and everything, she has well experienced. So I request you to share that as well.
A very good afternoon to everyone. First of all, I'm really glad that I got this opportunity to interact with my juniors, and for that, I am thankful to the organizers that they gave me this opportunity. And when I got the call for this event, and I spend a lot of time that what things I can put on the table differently. And I find out, one common string between you guys and me, that at one point of time I was at the other side of the table where you guys are right now, and now I am at this time of at this part of the table. So I think this is something we can, like talk about. I can share my journey, like how I came from there to here, and the it's like I just want to share my experience, few stories of my college, few stories of like during the whole tenure of my employment now. And I passed out. I recently passed out in 2021. My batch was 2019 to 2021, and it is popularly known as COVID batch. I came only like 4 semester at my college, and after that we done all our sessions through online. And all thanks to our supportive team and management who keep us intact throughout the sessions during that COVID period of time. And like they support us not or not on the basis of the studies and everything, but also mentally, because now you guys are already adopted that new normal thing. But for us that was quite challenging, because we were used to have physical education like since first class, and all of a sudden we was studying through virtual sessions. So that was quite tough for us. We were not, like focus. We were not able to focus that much when we used to do in the physical classes, because we are MBA student. We were doing MBA to gain that much of confidence and like to speak in the stage like this, like what I'm doing right now. So those were things missing, that time. So at that point of time, I was under like under the condition of self doubt. I was becoming hopeless when it comes to my placement and all. I really relate with what the share Mr. Joshua. Don't take things for don't take things for granted. And I'm not ashamed of accepting that I have taken things for granted at that point of time. I had many places, but I didn't join because I had preconceived notions about having packages, and like that much package should you have if you're MBA, or so always remember one thing, never take things for granted. As I told you, I was underconfident, I was becoming hopeless, and but one thing I always like about myself, that is the attitude. I never the attitude of not giving up, the attitude of like learning new things, the attitude of performing when you are having a pressure. So I think my attitude helps me to come out of the condition of self doubt. I started my professional journey in 2020, and I started learning from zero, about the recruitment industry, and I made 100 joinings in just 1 year. That is all because of my attitude. And now I am associated with Tech Mahindra, leading their BPO recruitment and some part of IT also. And my experience in my previous organization helps me a lot. Initially, I was working with a small organization. I worked in very, in different segments. I worked in different genres. I still remember that when I joined my first company, I was handling the client that was a tough one. No recruiter was able to close their positions. I struggled a lot that time. But after a few weeks, I closed that position. I get appreciation from my client. So I think that was the first thing that I learned, that if you are stick to something and if you want to do something, then there is nothing that you cannot achieve. One thing I like about like Vipin said, like if you dig in a particular place for a long period of time, you will get time. You must will get time, right? So all you need to do is just focus what you're doing. There are few attributes that a professional should have, or I can say a student like you are about to start your career. That is confidence, attitude, persistence, and promptness. These are few things that will help you throughout your professional life, in irrespective of your career choices. So, like this, these are the few things that I learned during my failures and my experience right now. And we will talk more further. Let me pass on more.
Thank you, Ekta. So after this initial round of insights from all our eminent panelists, I would like to move to you, Shastri. As Anish mentioned in the opening session that Rome was not built in a day, and so is the culture. You rightly mentioned about the importance of culture. You rightly observed the culture at SISTec. And when it comes to corporate etiquettes, I think it's not an overnight job. So right from the first year, what we do at SISTec, knowingly or unknowingly following the Tata norms, that we try to build the culture. And then ultimately when the student reaches in the fourth year, uh, he or she finds himself or herself a changed man, a changed female or person. So your views, something from your side, from coming from the Tata culture, which would definitely encourage us to do more such activities, to more encourage to us to more such initiatives. Uh, Something from you.
So when we talk about culture, or when we talk about a corporate brand, to make a corporate brand a success for over 100 years, what happens? You have to work day and night on the core values that are defined. And a strong organization like SISTec or Tata Steel, when they have a vision defined for the organization, there are a set of beliefs. We can talk about excellence. Excellence is a journey. We can talk about integrity. How we create value for our stakeholders. It's not where I come first, it's where you come first. We talk about corporate etiquettes, right? There was a time in the early 80s where a fresh graduate trainee from an engineering college would join Tata Steel, and he was taught how to conduct himself on a dining table, how he's supposed to hold the fork and knife. Because Tata culture was supposed to be at a level where people looked up to you. And that set of belief, that Tata logo that you wear on your sleeve is supposed to make you proud. There was a time when I was handling a customer who was an ancillary for Volvo Aisha. I had very good relation with him. But for some reason, the supply chain was hit. His material was not coming on time. He called me up at 11 in the night and he said, Atri Saab, Tata ka naam kharab mat hone do. It was a beautiful statement. He says, people will come and go, but this corporate culture that has been built over centuries, over 100 years, is something that people breathe in and out. So today, this culture that we talk about, SISTec, it's not stage show or something. I could feel the genuineness of everybody responding so nicely, of people being so pleasant, and that is what is going to build the culture. The organization can be small, but they build over a period of time. But like I mentioned earlier, these core values that have been defined from your larger statement, you want to become a technological excellence organization, and you also want to give back to society. So it should not just be on the drawing board. It has to come into all of us. We should be proud that if you're coming out from SISTec, tomorrow, whenever we're working in any metro in the country or wherever we're working, or we are doing our entrepreneurship, we should say we are from the brand of SISTec. Today I was talking to Prachi in the morning about my school. I passed out 35 years ago from Lawrence School, Sanaa. I'm very proud of my school, most passionate. When somebody talks to me about my school, I say it's the best school. And our alumni base is so strong. But when we say we network, if I'm traveling to Bombay, I reach out to my old Sanatan friend. If I'm in Mizoram, traveling in Northeast, I reach out to a friend because there are some relationships are beyond any definition. So this culture that is built That school is 175 years old. We're celebrating 175th year of our school today. So that is something I think that we have to breathe in and out. We have to drive it, and we have to act when nobody is watching us. And we have to be passionate, work with pride, pace, and passion to achieve that goal. If you're going to be passionate about it, believe me, in your first year of your organization journey, you will get noticed. Your bosses are going to watch you. There will be pressures. When they will be under pressure, they are going to really step on your pressure. First 6 months might be honeymoon period for all of us. Fine, 6 months you joined. But when the going gets tough, that's the time you'll have to deliver. And like very rightly said, organizations are feeling the pressure, they're raising hikes. But that's the time you have to step up. Your skills are going to come out. You can't keep changing jobs because there's pressure. You have to sustain the pressure. Isko bolte na ladna seekho thoda. You guys are getting into the corporate world, you'll have to fight. And tomorrow you are the ones who are going to become examples.
Thank you. So culture is something which you cannot inculcate. It comes inside. And basically, what I learned from these panel that accept whatever comes to you. Do not keep on changing your jobs. Have patience. Give yourself and your job a good time. Understand the process, and again, go up for all the challenges. So now, coming on to open this session for Q&A from the student side.
Now, while the microphone is getting circulated, I just want to share a very interesting experience. Recently, I met 2 students from Hexaware. One of them, I asked, "Kaisa chal raha hai first job?" He said, "बहुत परेशानी है. I'm very sad." I said, "क्यों? काम बहुत कराते हैं." Sometime later, I met another guy. "कैसा चल रहा है first job?" "बहुत अच्छा चल रहा है." "क्यों? काम बहुत कराते हैं." So that's, I think, what you want to touch upon. Perhaps a very, very strong message to the students. काम बहुत कराते हैं has a multi-dimensional meaning. It can go either way. And as you rightly said, काम बहुत कराते हैं, pressure बहुत है काम का. These are either positive, if you take it that way, or it can go negative. People have left their first jobs early. People have stopped working. And on the same side, people have continued, people have been successful, ultra successful in their first job. So I think the microphone has reached the audiences. Let us have the first question.
You can just raise your hand if you can come up. Yeah, please.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mphasis and I'm from Computer Science.
A little louder, please.
Okay.
A bit louder.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Kamal and I'm from Computer Science Engineering branch. My question is to Mr. Joshua David. Sir, you have talked about learning while working, right? And I believe, as in software engineering especially, technology is ever evolving, right? So you have to keep updating yourself. But work is also very hard, right? You have to keep balance between learning and working. So my question to you is, how do you keep that balance?
That's a beautiful question. Thank you. You can just sit down. Okay, I always start this conversation in any college with this very simple question. You all have your 7th semester students, right? Before talking about technologies, before we talk about your latest stuff which is happening today, you're talking about the AIs or the MLs or the Internet of Things and whatnot. How many people in this arena? You can just raise your hand alone. Okay? I'm not going to answer. I'll question you again. How many of you sitting here, all your 7th or 8th semester people, out of your 40, 45, 50 subjects, how many of you can really just tell me the subject names of all the 40 subjects right now? Okay, I can see, okay, good. I can see 2 hands out of whatever population sitting here. So my dear friend, to answer your question, let's put our focus predominantly into our fundamentals and the foundation what we study in our 4-year education, right? There's another funny saying: whenever we complete our second year, we forget first year. Whenever we come to our third year, we forget first and the second, and when we are in fourth year, we forget first, second, and third. But after your fourth year, don't forget your engineering, which is very, very important. That's a strong statement I just want to tell you here, right? I read a beautiful statement in one of the colleges where I did my one of the same conferences, right? Scientists, they study what is there, but you create the world because you're more than the scientist. Engineers create the world, and scientists only study what is already present, the moon or the stars or whatever galaxy you talk about. So my dear friends, you have a long way to go as individuals. You have a long way to go to talk about technology. But my humble request to all the people sitting here is, please understand your academics. Please understand your fundamentals. Please learn from your gurus. Okay, don't always call all these HR people. We mislead you always, right? That's the strong truths, right? I think my fellow colleagues also accept. I also have my beautiful colleagues also sitting down. So my point is, you have beautiful lecturers here, off the dais and on the dais, right? So always learn from them. They are there to always guide you. My point is, David Prasad was an MBA accreditation in one of the colleges. There, one student is talking about, sir, let's take off 4th year from the 4-year engineering. Let's do it 3-year, and the last year can be your practice session, it seems. I really got curious. Can you answer those 3 years what you studied in your academics and you jump towards the last year of your corporate exposure, what you talked about? So let's be very clear. Let's not confuse learning with this. Let's take step by step. Very, very simple. Okay, life is all about simple, and let's not make it complex. I'm talking about all those technologies. It's important, it's necessary, but let's take it one by one and then not. Hope I answered your question.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other question we have? Yes, please.
Very good afternoon to all. My name is Anshul, and being a proud son of Jharkhand, I think it's my birth responsibility to know something about Tata. So obviously my question would be with the Chandra sir. So as we are talking to Manish sir about the culture, I would just know that what the culture we as a young engineer should have in our mindset about the Tata and how we can be the part of Tata ahead in the career.
Wonderful. Or if we can be part of any great organization, Tata is also one of the great companies. So, first you said, how do we work for an organization with a great culture, right? Now, what defines a great culture? A great environment, great people to work with, right? Great learning, an organization which is full of learning. An organization, obviously, which has a lot of work-life balance. There's fun. Yes, there's hard work. So you'll have people working very hard, but to balance it out, they'll obviously be having some recreational interest. Somebody might be a drummer, somebody might be a marathoner. So you have to have a balance. A lot of things are defined from our own internal upbringing. So if you're a person who pursues music, irrespective of if you're working in a night shift, you're not going to leave that hobby. So something that you want to get up in the morning, jump up and say, I'm excited about this. You will sustain it for a long period of time. Needless to say, your corporate journey has just begun. So the basics will remain, that there is going to be a lot of hard work, right? Now to keep that hard work sustainable for the next 30, 40, 50 years with a lot of pace, you need to have there's a trade-off. You must take care of your health, right? You need to have stress busters. I'm not going to talk about a lot of stress at this level, but if I give my own example, I try to ensure that despite any kind of pressure that I had, any kind of challenges that we had, we still try to reconcile at the end of the day that life is beautiful. There are pressures today. There might be somebody who's been very aggressive with you on a particular day, but there were circumstances. but that same person becomes your best friend. So in an organization culture is also going to be defined by the kind of group that you work for, right? If you're a good team player, you will say, wow, what a great company. At the same time, if you had a rough day with somebody, you might say, oh, I'm going to leave this company. It doesn't work that way. I think have patience. A lot of youngsters that I feel right now have a very, very short yardstick. They will say that it's black or white. No. Sometimes you need to persevere. You need to fight it a bit. All right. And just giving the example of one of my customers who was very, very aggressive, very tough. I remember I was a young officer, like some of you are going to join the career. My first meeting in the boardroom, my super boss is getting fired by the customer. Very aggressively, getting fired, left, right, etc. And what is the mistake of my boss? He had simply given a gift, which is just a calendar, a Tata Steel calendar and a Tata Steel diary, which is within our code of conduct, the gift policy. But for some reason, he was in a bad mood. He started the meeting on a very rough note. I thought my career with Aisha Motors is over here. That's it. But believe me, he held his patience. He did not react. He had very high EQ. I rate my boss as a person with tremendous EQ. And what happened? That meeting got over. We started from scratch. After 2 years, we were rewarded with an award at the vendors conference. And those billboards were put up all over in our plant in Jamshedpur. So just imagine, somebody who's been rough at you at one time doesn't mean it's the end of the story. You have to sustain these pressures. But coming back to your good point about corporate culture, I think any company for that matter, wherever you work, it can be a brilliant organization. You have to be a good team player, right? You have to be empathetic towards people. You're in the learning curve. Okay, you're still in the early stages of the learning curve. So probably learn as much as you can from your gurus, like Mr. Joshua said. This is the time for you to imbibe a lot of good practices. And secondly, you said work for the Tatas. Tatas has a lot of, Tata Group as a whole. Tata Steel has many, many subsidiaries. Many subsidiaries all over in manufacturing. So you can always, if you've already got placed, after a certain amount of work X, you can definitely approach those organizations, right? But build your track record right now. Build your competence right now. There are HR managers looking for great people all the time. Thank you.
All right. So I would like to invite Mr. Badal and team to take it forward.
Sure. Thanks a lot to the eminent panelists. So with this, we conclude the panel discussion 1. Just to sum up, there have been a lot of insights, have been a lot of experience sharing from all of you, honorable panelists. The takeaways for the students might be different, but then my takeaway is the one which I would like to mention specifically, that things are not drastically different. What we teach, what we train at SISTec, perhaps that's right. We are on the right direction. We are on the right track. And personally working about for 12 years in the corporate world, I know that, and you have already endorsed this, that things are not much different. You just need to maintain yourself. You just need to be what you are, and you will be definitely a successful professional in the corporate world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shri.
Thank you, madam. Thank you so much. And it has been fantasy all the time. And it has been very fancy also to the students who are going to join the corporate, because from the other side, we have always been watching what happens in the corporate. We are learning from the people, but when we are listening to the people who are already living the corporate culture, it's really fantastic. And then, apart from the experts, we are having some neophytes who have joined corporate. I would like to call a couple in fact, so that they can come over here and share their experience. I will call Devendra Gaur from EC department, who got A's in Digicomm, Semiconductor, Bangalore. Give him a big hand.
Very good afternoon, everyone.
My name is Devin Kaur. I placed in I'm from Electronics and Communication Engineering. I placed in Digicomm Semiconductor. It is a company based on SISTec Glory. And I got the selections because of so many persons of the college who cultivate their knowledge, skills, gratitude, and aptitude. I would like to thank Dr. Ravi Shankar sir, HODC, who always motivate the students like me to go ahead. And especially I would like to thank Professor Rahul Srivastava sir, who always he also motivated me a lot to get this opportunity. And I'm very thankful to the team of SISTec who showcase my skills by providing such kind of opportunities. That is nothing but training and placement thing. So अगर मैं बात करूं तो जब मैं 12th के बाद में आया था SISTec में बस एक ही डर लगता था कि जॉब मिलेगी नहीं मिलेगी, क्योंकि मैं मिडिल क्लास फैमिली से बिलोंग करता हूं और मैं एक सियोल के एक छोटे से गांव से बिलोंग करता हूं जहां से आना बहुत मुश्किल होता था मेरे लिए। पर मैंने सोचा था कि शायद देखेंगे जो होगा कर लेंगे कैसे भी करके। मेरे फादर फार्मर है और मेरी जो माता जी है वो हाउसवाइफ है। सो आई थॉट कर लेंगे। यहाँ पे आया, इंग्लिश का जीरो नॉलेज था, बिल्कुल लगा था कि इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज में इंग्लिश मैंडेटरी होती है और होती भी है, पर बिल्कुल जीरो था। सोचा था कि अब कैसे करेंगे, पर पॉजिटिव थिंकिंग थी कि कर लेंगे, क्योंकि बचपन से ही मैं पॉजिटिव थिंकिंग में पला बड़ा हूं, तो मैं हमेशा पॉजिटिव ही सोचता हूँ चीजों को। फिर मैं यहाँ पे आया तो मैंने सोचा कि CS ब्रांच लेंगे, पर ड्यू टू सम फाइनेंशियल इशू मैंने इसी ले ली और मैंने अपना करियर स्टार्ट करा, स्टडी करना स्टार्ट करा। फिर मैंने जब पहली बार मैंने जब लैब में बैठ के प्रिंट ऐप का जो सी का पहला प्रोग्राम लिखा था, तो प्रिंट ऐप में हेलो वर्ल्ड में मेरा पहला एरर आ गया था, तो मैंने CS ही छोड़ दिया। मैंने सोचा था कि अब CS करना ही नहीं है, तो फिर मैं धीरे धीरे मैंने करा। फिर थोड़ी इश्यूज आने लगे, फिर कोविड आने लगा, तो फिर मैं फर्स्ट टाइम वेबसाइट डेवलपमेंट में आया था, क्योंकि मुझे कुछ अर्निंग करनी थी और खुद का कुछ पैसे भी कमाने थे, फीस भरनी थी। तो मैंने पहला वहां से वेबसाइट डिजाइनिंग उठाया था, और वो भी मैंने पहला वेबसाइट 27,000 रुपए का बनाया हुआ था, वो भी फ्री ऑफ। मैंने यूट्यूब से सीख के मैंने 27,000 की अर्निंग की थी। वो पहली वेबसाइट मेरी वो चलती है, मैं चलाता हूँ, और जो मेरे सर के लिए चलाता हूँ मैं, वो दिल्ली वाले। तो वहां से मैंने अपनी पहली वेबसाइट स्टार्ट की थी। अराउंड नाउ मैंने 8 से 10 वेबसाइट डिजाइन कर चुका हूँ। फिर मैंने सोचा कि CS में है, अब लैंग्वेज से बहुत डर लगता था, धीरे धीरे स्टार्ट किया। इसी में मेरे मतलब बोले जाए तो CS से मेरी फैमिली से मेरे भैया भी हैं, वो जो CS में इंजीनियर हैं और डेटा साइंस में हैं। तो उन्होंने मेरे को मतलब मोटिवेट तो किया ही CS के लिए। बोलते थे कि ऐसा है वैसा है, उनका सर भैया इसी में चला जाऊं। बोलते थे कि नहीं, इसी में भी कोर ब्रांचेस में प्लेसमेंट नहीं मिलते, ये नहीं मिलता, वो नहीं मिलता, आप स्टेटस के लिए जाओ। फिर मैंने उनसे भी पूछना ही छोड़ दिया। फिर मैं बस हमारे डिपार्टमेंट की फैकल्टियों से बातें करता था, वो मुझे मोटिवेट करते थे कि क्या करना चाहिए क्या नहीं करना चाहिए। फिर मैं यहाँ से मैंने अपनी प्रिपरेशन स्टार्ट की। मुझे लगा था कि मैंने जब फर्स्ट टाइम सुना था तो उसमें मुझे लगा था कि सी प्रोग्रामिंग के बिना तो प्लेसमेंट होने ही नहीं है सी में। फिर 3 महीने मतलब प्लेसमेंट आने वाले थे और इधर कोविड के कारण कुछ पढ़ाई नहीं हो पाई थी, तो मैंने फिर सी प्रोग्रामिंग स्टार्ट की। फिर वहां से मैं प्रोग्रामिंग की फील्ड में आया, मैंने बहुत मेहनत की। उसके बाद में मैंने 2-3 लैंग्वेजेस कवर की, और जिस चीज से मुझे बहुत डर लगता था, प्रोग्रामिंग से मुझे बहुत डर लगता था, और उसी चीज में मैंने 102-3 प्लेसमेंट ले भी लिए, और मैंने अभी हाल ही में कुछ छोड़ भी दिए, क्योंकि मुझे इसी में इतना अच्छा प्लेसमेंट मिल गया था कि मैं उसे छोड़ना ही नहीं चाहता था। तो मैंने डिजिकॉम सेमीकंडक्टर ज्वाइन कर लिया। डिजिकॉम सेमीकंडक्टर मैंने ज्वाइन किया, वहां मैं ऑफिस भी गया, मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा वहां का ऑफिस, वहां के लोग बहुत अच्छे लगे। जैसा कि यहाँ जो ट्रेनिंग प्लेसमेंट बताया गया था, प्राची मैम ने बताया था, सरस सर ने बताया था, बिल्कुल वैसे ही वहां का माहौल बहुत ही अच्छा था। मतलब एक तरीके से देखा जाए तो SISTec की तरह ही था, सारे जैसे यहाँ पे फैकल्टी से हम बात शेयर कर सकते हैं, वहाँ पे भी ऐसे ही सीधे एचआर से आप बात कर सकते हो। आप किसी भी टाइम पे कॉल कर सकते हो, या कुछ भी प्रॉब्लम हो आप बात कर सकते हो। आपको कोई भी दिक्कत परेशानी नहीं आती थी। तो मैं वहां भी गया, मैंने वहां से भी एक्सपीरियंस लिया। फिर ऐसे ही यहाँ पे हमारे जो डिपार्टमेंट की फैकल्टियां थी, तो कभी भी मुझे सबसे अच्छा यहाँ का फायदा मिला कि कभी भी मेरे मन में डाउट आता था, कुछ भी आता था, हमारे सर को फोन लगा दो, एचओडी सर को फोन लगा दो, किसी भी टाइम फोन लगा दो, वो आपकी प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व कर देते थे। और राहुल सर जिनसे मैं हमेशा टच में रहता था, पंकज सर, मेरे को कुछ भी दिक्कत आती थी तो मैं उन्हें हमेशा फोन लगाता था किसी भी टाइम में। ये नहीं देखता था कि क्या बज रहा है, क्या सोचेंगे, वो भी मुझे हर प्रॉब्लम मेरी सॉल्व कर देते। मैं बस इतना ही कहना चाहूंगा जूनियर्स के लिए कि दिक्कत तो बहुत आएगी, आप कुछ करोगे तो मुसीबतों से भी निकलोगे, तब जाके आप चमक पाओगे। तो ये चीज है कि आप किसी चीज को किस तरीके से लेते हो। अगर आपने सोच लिया कि करना है तो फिर करना ही है, फिर कुछ सोचना ही नहीं है उसके अलावा। पॉजिटिव थिंकिंग हमेशा अपने माइंड में रखना चाहिए, क्योंकि पॉजिटिव थिंकिंग आपको हमेशा आगे लेके जाती है। और आपने कभी भी आपको कुछ नहीं आता, आप सोचते रहते हो कि मुझे नहीं आता, मेरा क्या होगा, कुछ नहीं होगा, ये वो। अगर आपने सोच लिया कि मुझे करना है, और आपको वेदर यू डोंट नो एनीथिंग, आप कर जाओगे, कैसे भी कर जाओगे। ये मेरे साथ रियली हुआ है, और मैं इसी चीज को अपनाता हूँ कि मैं हमेशा पॉजिटिव सोचता हूँ। आज मैं बहुत खुश हूँ कि मेरे घर वाले का मैंने नाम थोड़ा ऊंचा किया, और मैं आगे भी बहुत ऊंचा करूंगा, अपने डिपार्टमेंट का नाम ऊंचा करूंगा, अपने कॉलेज का नाम ऊंचा करूंगा, और आगे ही कुछ अच्छा काम करता रहूंगा, और मैं वापस से अपने कॉलेज में आऊंगा। और इसी के साथ मैं आप सभी को धन्यवाद बोल रहा हूँ। थैंक्स अलॉट।
Thank you. Standing average. Trainer for communication, I can feel the difference. Right from first year to final year. In the first year, I say kuch to bolo. And in the final year, ab bas bhi kar bhai. So it is it was a story of success, and it is said that it is easy to get success, but it's really very difficult to digest it. And sometimes we are finding it that when we are working on a particular pattern, being monotonous, being stereotyped, we feel that we are not growing. And the next one is to know how to manage your growth. What's the bother? Do we have anything on that?
You got my words, Ernst. So let's keep going and keep growing. And with these words, I would like to call on stage our second panel of expert speakers on stage. As we have with us Ms. Mahindra, Head HR, TCS. Let us get it loud. Mr. Manish Pandey, Manager, KPMG. Mr. Devendra Mishra, Deputy Manager, HR, Hexaware.
Good afternoon, everyone, once again. So this panel discussion 2 is on managing your growth. Once you enter your first job, how to think about growth, how to define growth, and then how to manage your growth. Prachi, when did you start your first job? What was your perception of growth?
Right, sir. Back in 2010, the very first job I applied is L&T Cement as an HR executive. And it was journey started with an intern at Noida, and it was very fruitful because my entire focus was on learnings and development. A lot many things what we are studying during our academics has simple implications towards the corporate life. So the one and the single intent was to learn. As I have taken the further steps towards the further semesters.
I see. Excellent. So this is all about this panel discussion is starting with you, Anima. If you can spend a couple of minutes, each one of us, one by one, regarding your perception of growth. Of course, with the context of our students joining their first job.
Hello, am I audible? Yeah, so very good afternoon to you all, and it's an absolute pleasure for me to be here. This is my first visit in SISTec, and I'm really, really impressed to see the crowd, to see the energy, and to see all the good infrastructure, and the idea of having schools, engineering colleges all under the same umbrella. Everything is very, very. It gives a very positive and nice vibe about this place. So thanks to SISTec for inviting me for this event. So talking about growth, now TCS is one organization where, if I have to define TCS with one word, it will be growth, because that is all we do. After getting into TCS, this is the word which we hear maximum. We are growing, we have to grow. What is the growth rate? The target growth rate, last quarter growth rate, this quarter target. So it's all about growth. Now, you will also going to hear this word, especially people who are joining IT organizations and IT industry. So, for you, what growth would mean is growing as an individual, and also growing your career in a very, very complex corporate structure. Because if I talk from the view of current IT organizations like TCS or other IT organizations, they are like ocean. So it's a huge, huge organization where you will feel lost. There are n number of processes you will have to follow. Even for entering into the office, there will be 5 apps you will have to download, and you will have to go through 5 applications, even if you have to collect your ID card from the office. So it is that complex, and more so after 2 years of COVID situation. So I would say, first, as an individual, as a fresher to this kind of a complex environment, you have to be very, you have to know from the beginning that it's not going to be easy for you, and it's a very, very complex process you will have to follow. But at the end of the day, basics is always what matters. So if you have a good educational foundation, that's definitely going to help you, and that is what will ensure growth. So that's the first thing, and secondly, the mindset. People talked about attitude at length. I think you have heard enough about what is the right kind of attitude you should have. Digging in the same place, having patience, and believing in your ability, having positive thoughts. These are all, you are going to need from day one. So all these will set the basic. But if you have to really grow in an organization and really have to realize your potential, because growth may mean different things. Growth can be having promotions and getting into a senior role where some people will be reporting to you. That can also be one definition of growth. But if you really, for me, the definition of growth would be actually realizing your potential, the true potential you have inside, bringing that out and reaching that height, irrespective of how much compensation you get and how many people are reporting to you. But whatever you have inside, whether you are reaching that height or not, whatever be your career. So for doing that, continuous learning is the only term we have. And especially, I will talk about it TCS, but I believe most of the IT organizations will be very, very similar. So we have again, extremely complex framework for learning. Our learning is anytime, anywhere, any device, learning, so you can do it at your own pace, at your own device, at your own time. So we believe that learning content is free, learning is free of structure. There is no classroom, there is no teacher, and we have seen the result that when we have removed the structure and the classroom and the teachers from the system, people learn faster, and they actually did better results. So we believe that the learning is on the learner. That is the philosophy we have, and as HR professionals, our job is to just put the trigger in that person. Like I make it a point to speak to fresh joiners in the organization and just talk to them and try to give that motivation, that trigger, that spark, which will, take him in the right direction. That's all we do. Here in TCS, we believe that people are better equipped to learn themselves. So there is a lot of contents available. There is process learning, there is plethora of technological learning which you will not be able to finish in your career. There is domain learning, there is leadership building, there are mandatory training programs, and there are role-based training programs which you will have to do as part of your project. Then you will have your aspirational learning, and then on top of everything, you will have your digital learning, which is being followed very, very seriously in most of the IT organizations, and especially in TCS. We have a concept of T factor. T is actually the breadth and depth of your knowledge in digital technology. Again, there is endless content, endless material available for free, which you can consume at your own time, at your own pace, at your own device, whenever, whatever you like. But every individual will have a T factor value attached to them. So you have to keep that in mind, and continuously you have to grow yourself. Continuously, and not only grow, which is very important in corporate life, is to amplify your growth, amplify what you do. So you have to announce also, this is my key factor. This is what I did last week. This is what I did in the last month. This is what I'm going to do in the next quarter. So that is what will bring visibility to you. There is no shame in saying that I have done this, I have achieved this. So this is another culture. We Indians are very shy to say what we have done. We think that that's not a good thing to amplify, but we think otherwise. You have to amplify, you have to talk about your achievements, and you should feel proud about it. So that's very, very important. And as an HR professional, I would say, which is very different from the the usual concept of growth, that in last 2 years we have learned a very, very different aspect of work-life balance. That unless you are a very happy individual, happy and healthy, you cannot contribute to anything, be it your life or be it your career, be it any organization. So we are putting more and more and more focus into your physical and mental health. So I would request all of you to be engaged. Being engaged with things. It can be the plant you have put in your balcony, watering it, or it can be looking after your pet, or it can be some big CSR project you are doing in the organization. But being engaged with love, with what you do, is very, very important. That is something which will ensure growth for you as an individual, as well as as a professional. Thank you.
Thank you, Thank you. So well said. Of course, thank you for sharing the Tata perspective, TCS perspective of growth. One has to aspire for growth. One has to keep learning lifelong, and definitely one has to be happy if one has to grow. Coming to you, David. So, Hexaware policy, Hexaware philosophy, and of course your own views. What's growth?
Thank you. Hello everyone, good afternoon. My pleasure connecting with you all today. So, talking about organization, talking about the employee, growth is all about, it's always you versus you. So what were you in the past and what are you now? Also, you will have to take care of your personal integrity. So growth is equally important, as well as you have to take care of your integrity. Growth without integrity makes no sense. You will have to be parallel with both of both the parameters. Now, when you join any organization, so you always have a fresh mindset before you log in, or before you onboard to the organization. But when you grow, when you start working with that organization, you get to know about a lot of other things. Now there your learning starts, and there you can compare what exactly you need to grow and what exactly you need to learn about. Now learning is possible only when you know what needs to be learned. What is lacking on you, that is very important to understand. And that is very important to accept, actually, as man correctly said. You will have to identify the point where you will have to improve yourself, and then only you will be able to grow. So it's always, as I told you, you will have to ideate your ideas, you will have to innovate things so that you can learn and so that you can, put your efforts to make yourself better in all the ways. So this is all about growth. Coming to Hexaware as an organization. In Hexaware, we always provide equal opportunity to all of the employees to ideate their views, to put their views towards organizations, towards the process which we follow. We always are open to take the new ideas from the new generation, to new joiners. They all are open to share their views, and we welcome and we implement those views also. So we have a dedicated tool also designed for that. So in short, developing your skills and competing with yourself is all about the progression and all about your growth. That's it.
Thank you, Levin. So coming to you, Manishi, I'm confused. So I have heard that growth का मतलब salary increment. अभी तक तो एक बार भी salary का mention नहीं हुआ. TCS ने बोला, Hexaware ने बोला. तो आपको क्या लगता है? Is it actually the growth, or it's an outcome of the growth?
Exactly, sir. मैं भी actually वही बात बोलना चाह रहा था. Most of the time जब हम लोग अपना career start करते हैं, we think that salary is the most important thing. But मैं इसको थोड़ा सा different way में बोलना चाहता हूँ सर, if you allow. So आप सभी लोग movie देखते हैं? ओम शांति ओम मूवी देखिए सभी ने? कितने लोगों ने नहीं देखी है? ओके, उस मूवी में एक डायलॉग है, अगर आप किसी चीज को शिद्दत से चाहो, तो पूरी कायनात उसको आपसे मिलाने में जुट जाती है, राइट? इस डायलॉग में एक्चुअली दो चीजें इंपॉर्टेंट हैं. इट्स रिलेटेड टू ग्रोथ, इसलिए मैं यहाँ पे बोलना चाह रहा हूँ. फर्स्ट तो वो चीज है, मतलब यू शुड हैव वो चीज जिसको आप शिद्दत से चाह सको. Obviously, we are not talking about दीपिका पादुकोण. आपको वो चीज होनी चाहिए जिसको आप शिद्दत से चाह सको, राइट? तो जिसको हम लोग इंग्लिश में पैशन कहते हैं, जिसको हम ड्रीम कहते हैं, जिसको सपना कहते हैं, राइट? सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट चीज अगर है ग्रोथ के लिए या आपकी लाइफ के लिए या करियर के लिए, दैट इज द पैशन और द ड्रीम और द सपना जो आपका है. ओके, सेकेंड इम्पोर्टेंट चीज इसमें जो है उसको शिद्दत से चाहना, राइट? सिर्फ ड्रीम होना इज नॉट इम्पोर्टेंट, सिर्फ सपना देखना जरूरी नहीं है, बट उस ड्रीम को शिद्दत से चाहना इज ऑल्सो इक्वली इम्पोर्टेंट, राइट? इसमें आपको मैं कुछ एग्जांपल देना चाहता हूँ. आप लोगों ने संजीव कपूर का नाम सुना है? अगर बहुत क्रूड सेंस में बोले तो वो करता क्या है? खाना बनाता है. बहुत क्रूड सेंस में बोले तो संजीव कपूर क्या करते हैं? खाना बनाते हैं. आपने जावेद अमीन का नाम सुना है? बहुत क्रूड सेंस में बोले तो वो क्या करते हैं? बाल काटते हैं. अगर आपने बेरी ग्रिल का नाम सुना होगा, सो बहुत क्रूड सेंस में बोले तो वो क्या करते हैं, दुनिया भर में घूमते रहते हैं इधर उधर। लाइक सब में एक कॉमन चीज, दो कॉमन चीजें हैं। एक तो ये है कि वो दे ऑल आर फॉलोइंग देयर पैशन, राइट। दूसरी कॉमन चीज उनमें ये है कि सबकी 1000 करोड़ से ऊपर की प्रॉपर्टी है, राइट। तो मेरा आप लोगों को यही सजेशन है कि अगर आप ग्रो करना चाहते हो तो एक आपका पैशन रखो और फिर उस पैशन को आप इस तरह से फॉलो करो जैसे कि ये 3 लोग करते हैं। मतलब अगर आपको खाना भी बनाना है तो ऐसे बनाओ जैसे संजीव कपूर बनाता है। अगर आपको घूमना भी है तो ऐसे घूमो जैसे बेरी ग्रिल घूमता है। अगर आपको बाली काटने हैं तो ऐसे काटो जैसे जावेद हबीब काटता है, राइट। इसके अलावा मैं 2 चीजें आपको और बोलना चाहता हूँ, दे ऑल आर रिलेटेड टू ग्रोथ, करियर ग्रोथ बेसिकली। हम लोग आज फर्स्ट सेशन में देखा था कि बी लाइक रोमन्स। अभी हम लोग वो भी देख रहे थे कि इफ यू आर कमिंग टू कॉर्पोरेट, हाउ शुड यू बिहेव, हाउ शुड यू टॉक। बहुत अच्छे हम लोगों को सजेशंस मिले फर्स्ट सेशन में, अभी भी हम लोगों को बहुत अच्छे सजेशंस मिले। बट मेरा आपको यही कहना है कि अगर आप अपना पैशन फॉलो करते हो, अगर आप किसी चीज को शिद्दत से चाहते हो, तो ट्रस्ट भी, लोगों से कैसे बात करना है, क्या ड्रेसिंग सेंस होना चाहिए, क्या लैंग्वेजेस लर्न करना चाहिए, कैसे ग्रो करना है, वो सारी चीजें कायनात आपको खुद सिखा देगी, राइट। बट द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग कि कोई ऐसी चीज हो जिसको आप शिद्दत से चाहो, राइट। एक और चीज मैं बोलना चाहता हूँ, आज से कुछ समय पहले हम लोग जब स्टडी करते थे, आप लोगों की तरह ही थे, हम लोग उस समय कहा जाता था कि वी आर रिसोर्स कॉन्स्टेंट एंड वी वर अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉन्स्टेंट। What do we mean by resource constant and opportunity constant? उस समय हमारे पास रिसोर्सेज बहुत कम हुआ करते थे। लाइक हम लोग ने जब स्टार्ट किया था, मैंने फर्स्ट स्टार्टेड लर्निंग कंप्यूटर्स, उस कंप्यूटर्स में बिलीव आप करेंगे नहीं करेंगे, उसमें हार्ड डिस्क भी नहीं होती थी। ठीक है, आपको एक फ्लॉपी होती थी जिसमें ओएस होता था, उस फ्लॉपी से आपको बूट करना पड़ेगा। दूसरी फ्लॉपी होगी जिसमें डीबीएस होगा, वर्ड होगा, उसमें आपको अपना काम करना पड़ेगा। तीसरी फ्लॉपी में आपको अपना डेटा सेव करना पड़ेगा। सो देयर वर नो हार्ड डिस्क इन आवर कंप्यूटर्स। फिर मैंने जब 95 में फर्स्ट कंप्यूटर परचेस किया, दैट वाज द लेटेस्ट कंप्यूटर अवेलेबल दैट पॉइंट इन टाइम। उसकी रैम 4 MB थी और उसकी हार्ड डिस्क जो थी वो 340 MB थी, एंड दैट वाज द लेटेस्ट कंप्यूटर। तो और इंटरनेट जब कनेक्ट करते थे हम लोग तो 10-15 मिनट तो वो डायल करने में, कनेक्ट करने में ही लग जाता था। और उस समय जो मैक्सिमम स्पीड हम लोग को मिलती थी दैट वाज 24 kbps। ओके, सो एक कहावत है ना, नहाएगा क्या निचोड़ेगा क्या, है ना। तो दैट इज व्हाट वी मेंट बाय रिसोर्स कॉन्स्टेंट। हमारे पास रिसोर्सेज ही नहीं हुआ करते थे उस समय। एंड सेकंड थिंग वाज अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉन्स्टेंट। उस समय उतनी अपॉर्चुनिटीज नहीं थी, लाइक अभी जॉब के लिए जितनी अपॉर्चुनिटीज है, अभी आपने जैसे मैंने देखा कि एवरीबॉडी इज हैविंग 2 or 3 ऑफर्स अवेलेबल विद देम। अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट, गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया इज आल्सो सपोर्टिंग लॉट ऑफ स्टार्टअप्स एंड अदर थिंग्स। तो पहले हम लोग रिसोर्स कांस्टेंट हुआ करते थे, अपॉर्चुनिटी कांस्टेंट हुआ करते थे। नाउ वी आर इमेजिनेशन कांस्टेंट। नाउ वी आर इमेजिनेशन कांस्टेंट। व्हाट डू वी मीन बाय इमेजिनेशन कांस्टेंट? You have to have some problem that you want to solve। या हमने जैसा भी डिस्कस किया, अगर आपके पास कोई पैशन है जिसको आप सॉल्व करना चाहते हो, जिसको आप अचीव करना चाहते हो, अगर वो है तो बाकी रिसोर्सेज सारे अवेलेबल हैं, अपॉर्चुनिटीज काफी सारी अवेलेबल है। बट द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग अगेन वी आर कमिंग बैक टू कि कोई ऐसी चीज हो जिसको आप शिद्दत से चाह सको, तो बाकी सारी चीजें अपने आप आ जाएगी। बस एक लास्ट चीज मैं कहना चाहूंगा, आज एआई, क्योंकि वी ऑल आर टेक्निकल स्टूडेंट्स, आपने एआई का नाम सबने सुना है? व्हाट इज एआई? आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस। एआई में हम लोग कर क्या रहे हैं? पूरी दुनिया इज आई थिंक इन्वेस्टिंग अराउंड $250+ billion वर्ल्ड वाइड। $50 billion इज अ बिग अमाउंट। तो एआई में लोग कर क्या रहे हैं? बेसिकली व्हाट दे आर डूइंग, दे आर ट्राइंग टू सिमुलेट ह्यूमन ब्रेन इनटू मशीन्स, राइट। ठीक है, एआई में क्या कर रहे हैं? हमारा जो ब्रेन है वो कैसे काम करता है उसको मशीन के थ्रू सिमुलेट करना चाहते हैं, राइट। हम कैसे पढ़ते हैं, हम कैसे लर्न करते हैं, हम कैसे सीखते हैं, हम कैसे रिएक्ट करते हैं। एआई इज बेसिकली मशीन्स आर ट्राइंग, वी आर ट्राइंग टू सिमुलेट एवरीथिंग इनटू मशीन्स। बट आपने ये सोचा है कि जो दुनिया पूरा 250 अरब $250 बिलियन जो इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं वो क्यों कर रहे हैं? Why they are trying to copy human brain? Why not elephant brain? है ना? गधे का brain क्यों नहीं? Why human brain? Any idea? Because आज तक की दुनिया में सबसे पावरफुल, सबसे सोफिस्टिकेटेड अगर कोई डिवाइस है, तो that is human brain. So आज तक की दुनिया का सबसे पावरफुल डिवाइस, सबसे सोफिस्टिकेटेड डिवाइस ह्यूमन ब्रेन है, और वो डिवाइस हम सब लोग अपने साथ लेके घूम रहे हैं. हम लोग कई बार कंप्लेंट करते हैं कि मेरे पास ये रिसोर्स नहीं, मेरे पास वो रिसोर्स नहीं है, बट अगर आप सोचो तो दुनिया का सबसे पावरफुल डिवाइस, सबसे सोफिस्टिकेटेड डिवाइस भगवान ने हम सबको दिया है, जो अपने सर पे लेके घूमते हैं. सो मेरा लास्ट में कोई एडवाइस है फिर से, एक कोई ऐसी चीज हो जिसको आप शिद्दत से चाहते हो, ठीक है, और उसको आप शिद्दत से चाहो, फॉलो योर पैशन. मेरा वही सजेशन है कि ग्रोथ और बाकी सारी चीजें विल फॉलो. कायनात आपको सारी चीजें अरेंज करने में हेल्प ऑटोमेटिक कर देगी. ओनली इम्पोर्टेंट थिंग इज कि कोई ऐसी चीज हो जिसको आप शिद्दत से चाह सकते हो. सो थैंक यू वेरी मच.
So here we are taking one single thing from this panel, that whenever you are talking about managing your growth, we are talking about all embracing. We're not talking about one particular thing which is necessary for your growth. It can be anything. Yes, it can be money. Yes, it can be your passion. Yes, it can be your learning skills. Yes, your passion towards development, and everything which you desire. So basically, whenever we're talking about managing your growth, the first step you have to take up, and you have to get ready to take that particular first step without facing anything in behind. So to expect anything out of your personal growth, out of your subjective growth, it is very necessary to take that very first step. So here onwards, we are going to thank this panel to address the students and tell them what are the corporate desire towards that when they are asking for growth. And I also assert this particular point, like treat your first year career journey as your 9th and 10th semester. Without learning and without any development needs, it is difficult to take any step forward. So you are completing your 8th semester, now ready for your 9th and 10th semester with corporates as your learning spheres.
Tanima, I would like to now ask you about a very sensitive issue. I recall a job interview. The candidate asked the interviewer, "Sir, what are my growth prospects in your company?" And immediately the answer or the response came from the recruiter, "What's your growth plan? How do you want to grow in my company?" What I want to ask you, Tanima, and of course the other panelists also, how should a student sitting here define the growth plan? See, there are obvious parameters of growth. Physical growth, for example, if I increase my height, I'm growing. If I increase my weight or my age is increasing, the number is increasing. So these are the obvious parameters. But when it comes to the professional growth, at times the fresh recruits are confused. So what would you think? How would you define the parameters of growth that a fresh recruit must have?
Yeah, it's actually a very, very relevant question, because as freshers, we can have a lot of concepts about what is growth, what is not growth, and what should be my mindset, behavior, and still, you may feel lost in an organization. So it's very, very important to pinpoint and specifically know what you should do, what should be visible against your, name or you as a person, which will ensure that you get into the right kind of direction and right growth path. Now, in most of the IT organizations, people who are joining IT organizations, there will be role-based growth paths defined. So the moment you are, once you get into an organization, there is some initial learning program. It will be of some 2-3 months, which you will have to complete. And that is just the beginning of learning. And after that, you will be placed in a project, when your project specific learning will start. Now, then the moment you get into a role into a project, there will be certain competencies assigned by your supervisor to your role. So immediately we have a learning management system where your profile will be defined with some needed requirement, competency requirement. That is your project requirement. Along with that, you have to define what is your aspiration. So you might be working on one technology, but you can aspire to work on some other technology in the future. So you also have to define your aspirational growth path and your aspirational competencies required to achieve that growth path. So there will be another set of competencies. So all these are system driven. Every organization these days where you people will join will have a learning management system. So it's absolutely important to understand how that LMS works, where you will have to update what, which course you will have to enroll. These are the specific nitty-gritties which you will have to know. Otherwise, even with best intentions, you may not get the result. So this is what you will have to do. Use the system to achieve what you are, aspiring for. For that, what is the key thing you will have to do? Create a network. This point I did not mention in the first when I spoke, which is absolutely important, like your learning, that you create a network of people. You be connected with people. You will have to speak to a lot of people to understand how it works for you. And believe me, in Indian organizations, we will ensure that you succeed if you have the aspiration. So create your network like you have the professors here in your college. You will have similar seniors in our organizations and all IT organizations. So you will have to define a mentor, a coach for you. It can be a formal mentor defined by HR, designated to you, or you can take the guidance from one person informally. But it's very important that you understand the organizational processes, and for that you ask people continuously what I should do, how I should, develop this thing. I want to get into a project after 3 years on Java technology. What should be my basic steps? There will be system-defined steps, and you will continuously will have to take help from your seniors. So these are the few things, and on top of it, see, now education is free. There are free certifications available, courseware available, books available, everything is available. Every IT organization will have huge library with all books you need, digital, non-digital, physical. So you will have to guidance from it. It's very, very important that you select your mentor in the organization the moment you step in, and take guidance. Take a coach. There is a difference between a mentor and a coach. You search all those words, you learn yourself, and you speak to those relevant people. It's also very important to be engaged with HR, because we kind of if you feel confused, we try to bring you to the right track, and there are experienced professionals who continuously do that as a part of their job, that guiding people that you should get if you want that career path. Because even in IT there are different career paths. You can go to sales, you can go to domain expertise, you can go to technical experts, or you can get into R&D. You can be a leader in teaching also. So there are different career paths. Within first few months or maybe first 1 year, you will have to know what path you are going to take. Either you are going to sales, or you are going to be a techno expert, or you are going to be a functional expert, SME. So you have to, all these words, you will have to keep it in your mind. And the first year, believe me, for 6 months, it's not for relaxation, but you will have to learn a lot of organizational terms and the key people who will help you. So if you can do that very, very effectively, learn the organizational terms and systems and make them work for you, and have some key people who will help you. That will ensure, because everybody wants, in every organization, we want you all to succeed. So that you will have to make it work for yourself.
Thank you now.
Hi. Coming to organization, if you want to decide certain parameters to grow, this all depends, from which, from which background or which kind of growth you are targeting for. Now, setting a parameter is always depending on you. What all skill sets do you want to develop within you? It also depends on the organization, which organization and which, what is the organizational goal probably. Then you can plan about yourself. You can define certain parameters like, obviously the first parameter will be your skill development for the couple of years. Because once you join an organization, as I told you, you will be a fresh mind. You will have to think about what all skills has to be developed. You will have to hone certain skills. That is the first thing you have to define, the skill set. You will have to define what will be your direction to grow. That is very important because without direction, your skills may not be used in a proper way. So you will have to define, or you will have to get certain instructions from the supervisor, like from which or rather to which direction I should use my skills to grow. And very important thing, once you are able to identify your skills and your directions, you will have to obviously once if you're working in an organization, you will have to take help from your superiors, from your peers, of course. Once you enter in the organization, you may not know everything, but slow and steady you will get to know about things. You should not panic while joining because a lot of things, a lot of time what happens, people join us, as a fresh mind, they don't understand what is happening in the organization. Maybe 1 year they don't get any project. Sorry, 1 month they don't get any project. 2 months they sit in the bench or something. Then they start losing their patience and they conclude the things like what I'm going to do here. So they become directionless. In that point of time, you will have to take help from your peers, from your superiors, your supervisors. They can help you out. They will help you to define your directions, define your goals towards which you will have to use your skills. So this is very important whenever you join anywhere. You will have to be patient. You will have to be vigilant what is going in the organization. You may not have project, you may not have much to do initially, but yes, you will be learning in each stage. So that stage is very important. Joining the stage, there will be learning stage, training stage, and then you will be getting into the production actually. So that stage is very important. Instead of hoping for nothing in that stage, you will have to learn and you will have to implement those learnings once you are in the production. So that is very important. Thank you.
Thank you. Regarding parameters for freshers, with my experience, I started my career with a startup, then I reached up to Microsoft in software development part. Then I moved to consulting role and I worked with EY, PwC, and now with KPMG. I would like to advise you again. I'd like to continue with the same thing that I said earlier. Having a dream is one part. So now, second thing is what you can do is you can either have a dream company in your mind. That maybe you want to work for Microsoft, maybe you want to work for Google or Apple or a big company. So that can be one dream for you. Either you can think about a role. You can have a dream role in your mind. Maybe you want to become a technical architect at some point of time. Maybe you want to become a CEO of a company at one point of time. Or maybe you want to become a project manager or senior project manager on a particular company. So either you can dream about a company, or you can dream about a role that you want to be in, or you can dream about a package. You might be have certain package in your mind that ये package मुझे achieve करना है. Like हम लोग जब start करते थे career, 5 digit की salary होना एक बहुत बड़ा सपना होता था हम लोग का. So you can have a dream package also in your mind. So first thing, have a dream either role or a dream company or a dream package in your mind. Second thing, आपको क्या करना है? Now follow those. If you want to have a dream company, maybe Microsoft or Google, try to search about those companies, what products they are working on, what technology they are working on, what do they ask in interviews, who are the people who are working in those companies. You can follow them on LinkedIn and other social media platforms. You can talk to them, and you try to understand what that company is actually looking for in candidates, and then work towards that, learning those things. Similarly, if you have a dream role in your mind, search on Naukri.com, Monster.com for those roles. Okay? You don't search for the current role that you're working in right now. अभी आप लोग जब start करोगे, probably you start with junior software engineers or maybe software engineers, associate software engineers. I would advise you to search for the roles of maybe technical architect or maybe vice president or CEO. Learn कि वो क्या activities perform करते हैं, उनके क्या qualifications है, what companies they have worked in. Try to network with the people those who are already in those roles which are of your dream role. Similarly, if you are dreaming of a package, follow same pattern. Follow the people who have similar package. Try to network with them. Try to discuss with them, and try to learn all those things जो वो लोग already उस पे काम कर रहे हैं. So this is one thing. And second thing is be persistent. आपकी ड्रीम कंपनी, आपका ड्रीम रोल, आपका ड्रीम सीटीसी आपको एक दिन में, एक साल में, 2 साल में नहीं मिलने वाला है. मिल भी सकता है. I mean, अगर इस तरह की अपॉर्चुनिटीज आपको एक बार में मिल भी सकता है. But if you don't get your dream company, dream role or dream CTC in 1 year, 2 years, trust me, down the line, ultimately you are going to get it. मुझे माइक्रोसॉफ्ट मेरी ड्रीम कंपनी थी जब मैंने आपकी तरह से करियर स्टार्ट कर रहा था मैं. उस समय मुझे माइक्रोसॉफ्ट में अपॉर्चुनिटी नहीं मिली. But again, it took 9 years for me to reach up to Microsoft. So आपकी ड्रीम कंपनी, आपका ड्रीम रोल, आपकी सीटीसी 1 साल, 2 साल, 10, 5 साल नहीं तो 9 साल में तो आपको ड्रीम आपकी सब कुछ मिलेगा. So the last important thing is be persistent with your dreams. So that.
Thank you. So Prachi, with this, can we shift to the question answer round? If you have
So
some
I'm
questions.
opening the mic for Q&A to our panel members. Any question? Yes, please. I request all the coordinators to please provide her a mic.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Muskan Ansari from Computer Science Department. My question for Manish Pandey sir. Sir, is for a common student like me, consulting a business is less known. Would you please elaborate?
Can you repeat your question, please?
Sir, my question is for a common student like me, consulting business is less known. Would you please elaborate?
Right. First of all, I would like to correct your question. You asked for a common student like me. So there is no common student. Okay, you all are extraordinary. Trust me. Actually, I am taking sessions in multiple colleges in Bhopal and Indore and other places also. You have got best of management. You have got best of faculties, best of training and placement faculties, and also you have got best of students over here. So no common student here, in my opinion. All of you are extraordinary. Answering second part of your question regarding the consulting role, right? So I am, I think, the most right person to answer this, because for 10 years of my career, I worked as a software developer, engineer, manager, and other things. And then for last 10 years, I'm working as a consultant. So basically, what do you mean by a consultant? So the consultant को आप हिंदी में translate करो, हिंदी में नहीं होता सलाहकार. Okay, what do you mean by सलाहकार? सलाहकार मतलब जिससे आप सलाह लेते हो, राइट? और सलाह देने में तो हम सब एक्सपर्ट हैं. और बेसिकली आप सलाह लेते किससे हो, राइट? आप भी हम लोगों से क्वेश्चंस पूछते भी, पहले भी हम लोगों के पास यहाँ पे स्पीकर्स से यू आर आस्किंग क्वेश्चंस. सो व्हाई यू आर टेकिंग सजेशंस फ्रॉम ऑल ऑफ अस? बिकॉज़ you think that we know more than you. So consultant is somebody जिसको ऑर्गेनाइजेशन समझती है कि they know more than us. So suppose a software development organization है, they have developers, they have database administrators, they have network engineers, they have project managers. बट अगर उनको सपोज कोई नई चीज इंप्लीमेंट करना है, सपोज दे वांट टू गो इनटू न्यू मार्केट, okay, so they'll hire some consultants because they don't have similar kind of expertise in their organization. So whenever organization feels that this kind of expertise is not in our organization, they hire consultants. So consultants आपको हर फील्ड में मिलेंगे, like we are IT consultants, you will find tax consultants, you will find manufacturing consultants, you will find all fields have consultants. So basically consultants are somebody जिनको ऑर्गेनाइजेशन सोचती है कि हमसे ज्यादा आता है इसलिए उनको हायर करते हैं, तो ये एक कंसल्टेंट फील्ड होता है. सो नाउ बिकॉज यू आर फ्रॉम आईटी बैकग्राउंड, सो मोस्ट ऑफ यू विल बी गोइंग टू आईटी कंपनी. सो difference between normal software development career and a consulting career is, in normal software development career you will be working on day-to-day activities, like maybe you will be developing software, you will be managing software, and these kind of roles. But if you are a consultant, you will always have new problem in front of you. Suppose there is a company जो किसी नए मार्केट में एंटर होना चाहती है, so they will hire consultants to identify इस मार्केट में कितना स्कोप है, कितना ग्रोथ के चांसेस है, हम लोग इसमें किस तरह का प्रोडक्ट लेके आएंगे तो हम लोग ग्रो कर सकते हैं. So they will hire consultant for that. So this is major difference between normal role and consultant role. Another difference role is कि in software role you will be working in same company for longer period of time. But in case of consultant, what happens is because they are being hired to solve a particular problem, and once that problem is solved, they move to another organization. So most of the cases, consultants are placed with a particular client for some period of time. Like I have worked with like EY, PwC, KPMG. So in PwC only we had like we have worked for 5-6 different clients. So we working for Bangalore Press. We worked there for 6 months. We solved their problem. Now then we move to another, like say State Data Center. We solved their problem. Then we move to Swan Statewide Area Network. So if you are working in a software development firm, you will be working in a company for longer period of time or for a client for longer period of time. But if you are working in a consulting role, that will be temporary for till you solve that problem. And that is the major difference between normal software development role and consulting.
Thank you, sir.
I would just add a little bit to it. See, since you are from computer science, after 5-6 years, you will have to be a consultant anyway, whatever be your designation or role. Because you have to be in problem solving, you have to speak the language of the customer, you have to understand the customer's business, and you have to give the solution for customer's business problem. So that's a very misconception that I am a programmer, I do coding, I am a system developer, I am an internal IT. Ultimately, after a few years, unless you are a consultant, unless you are a problem solver and customer looks up to you as a more knowledgeable than them, you will feel irrelevant. So becoming irrelevant is the most dreaded term in IT industry. So you have to continuously become a consultant. That's the only path you can take, a problem solver and understanding the business better than the customer. So there is no escape. You have to be a consultant only, whatever role you are joining.
Right. Any other question? Yes, please.
Greetings of the day. I Ernst from Department of Computer Science. I have a question to Manish sir. What should be the step to become a job giver instead of a job seeker? Can we move towards that?
I really like this question because इसी के बारे में मैं बात कर रहा था. Follow your passion, follow your dream. So if you want to become a job giver, first thing I would like to tell you, you have to have an idea, right? उसके भी पहले बहुत important चीज है. Suppose आप अपना खुद का अगर business start करना चाहते हैं, if you want to start a startup, so government of India is also supporting a lot. Lot of investors are there who are ready to invest in your company. उसके लिए आपको सबसे important चीज है एक idea होना, और idea होने के से भी ज़्यादा important एक चीज है कि कोई problem होना, right? जब भी आप कोई आइडिया होगा आपका, so basically you will be trying to solve a problem. So first you need to identify a problem कि सोसाइटी में कौन सी ऐसी प्रॉब्लम है जिसको आप सॉल्व कर सकते हो, कौन सी ऐसी प्रॉब्लम है जो बहुत सारे लोगों को है और जिसका सॉल्यूशन आपके पास है. So identify a problem first, consider that problem as an opportunity. Take the problem as an opportunity. What I mean by this is try to find solution of that problem. Then it will become an opportunity for you. And once you have solution of that problem, then you try to find out right set of people whom with you discuss that particular idea. Suppose आपके पास एक problem है जिसका आपको solution मिल जाता है, then you need to find out some people like अभी आपके college में faculties हैं, you have mentors, you might be having an innovation cell also within your organization, you might be having a startup support system also in your college. So talk to the right set of people कि ये जो आप idea है, ये जो problem है जिसका आपको solution निकाला है, whether ये problem genuine है, इसका जो सॉल्यूशन आपने निकाला है, ये सॉल्यूशन बहुत सारे लोगों की प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर सकता है. सो टॉक टू लॉट ऑफ पीपल, बिकॉज क्या होता है, मैं भी स्टेज से गुजर चुका हूँ कि जब आपके पास कोई आइडिया होता है, हम उसको लोगों से डिस्कस करने में डरते हैं. हमें लगता है कि मेरे पास एक यूनिक आइडिया है, कोई इसको कॉपी नहीं कर ले. अगर मैं इसको ज्यादा से ज्यादा लोगों से डिस्कस करूंगा तो कोई इसको कॉपी नहीं कर ले. बट ट्रस्ट मी, अगर वो कोई कॉपी कर सकता होता तो अभी तक कर चुका होता. सो इफ यू हैव एन आइडिया, डिस्कस विद लॉट ऑफ पीपल, टेक सजेशंस फ्रॉम देम कि ये आइडिया वर्थ परसीव है या नहीं है. आप अगर 10 लोगों से डिस्कस करोगे, उसमें से 6 लोग ऐसे होंगे जो बोलेंगे हाँ ये अच्छा आइडिया है, 4 लोग ऐसे होंगे जो बोलेंगे कि ये अच्छा आइडिया नहीं है. उसके बाद ट्रस्ट योर इंस्टिंक्ट्स. अगर आपको सबने भी बोल दिया कि आइडिया परसीव करने लायक नहीं है, तो अभी अगर आपको लगता है तो आप फॉलो करो उस पैशन को, फॉलो करो इस आइडिया को, स्टार्ट डेवलपिंग दैट आइडिया. और फिर उसके बाद अगर आप ये सब स्टार्ट करते हो, सो then I mean there are a lot of steps for that. I mean if you are starting a company, आप पहले ideation stage में तो जब आपका idea आप बनाते हो, then you go to prototype stage जहाँ पे अपना ऐप का minimum जिसको हम MVP बोलते हैं, which is called minimum viable product. आप जो solution propose कर रहे हो उसका एक minimum viable product आप बनाओ. आप साथ में अपने friends के साथ मिलकर बना सकते हो, hire करके बना सकते हो. Once your MVP is ready, launch into the market. कई बार क्या होता है, हम सब सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर से, मैं भी सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर रहा हूँ, हम लोग ये सोचते हैं जब तक एक परफेक्ट सॉफ्टवेयर नहीं बन जाएगा तब तक उसको मार्केट में लॉन्च नहीं करेंगे. पर उससे प्रॉब्लम ये होती है कि आप डेवलप करते जाते हो, आपको पता ही होता है कि एक्चुअल कस्टमर क्या चाहते हैं. सो वंस योर एमवीपी इज रेडी, मिनिमम वायबल प्रोडक्ट इज रेडी, लॉन्च इट टू द मार्केट. ये जब आप इसको मार्केट में लॉन्च करते हो, आपको लोगों से फीडबैक मिलता है कि आप जो कर रहे हो वो सही है, आप जो कर रहे हो वो गलत है, आप जो कर रहे हो उसमें क्या इम्प्रूवमेंट्स हो सकते हैं. जो आपको कस्टमर का फीडबैक मिलेगा कि वो इसमें क्या इम्प्रूवमेंट्स चाहते हैं. Try to incorporate those suggestions into your MVP. So you come to the prototype stage, then you will come to the validation stage when lot of people say कि आपका आइडिया वाकई में अच्छा है, लोग इसको वाकई में पसंद कर रहे हैं. And उसके बाद then you become a entrepreneur, proper entrepreneur. Then you can go for investments. There are a lot of schemes launched by government. Like Seed for India scheme है, जहाँ पे जो आपको आइडिएशन स्टेज पे फंड करते हैं. राइट, अगर आपका ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, अगर आपकी कोई कंपनी है, वो रेवेन्यू अर्न कर रहे हैं तो इन्वेस्ट करने के लिए बहुत से लोग रेडी होते हैं. जब आपका आइडिया होता है, उसको डेवलप करने के लिए कोई भी आपको इन्वेस्ट नहीं करता है. बट गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया हैज लॉन्च सीड फंड इंडिया स्कीम, जिसमें अगर आप अप्लाई करते हो तो आपके आइडिया को प्रोटोटाइप में कन्वर्ट करने के लिए, आइडिया को लॉन्च करने के लिए दे प्रोवाइड यू फंड्स. सो यू कैन ट्राई फॉर दैट. So this is how you become job seeker to job giver. Did I answer your question? Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Right. So I would like to thank you to all the panel members. So now moving ahead towards felicitation of few our champs, those who have achieved well in their career. Though we can consider all of you have achieved, you people are the achievers, but the rest of you who have indicated their extra efforts, but put their extra segment to a particular career profiles. So calling upon Mr. Bakan sir and team to start the felicitation for those students, thereby taking this over.
Not to speak about rewiring brains and managing your growth. So we are having a couple of more speaking minds from our college who are placed into the company. I would like to call Preeti Kumari, President, SISTec Glory, from the Department of Computer Science, being placed in TCS Digital.
Very vivacious good afternoon to all. Thank you so much, sir, for introducing me. And my name is Preeti Kumari, and I am from SISTec Glory campus, CSE department. I am also the president of Student Activity Council at SISTec Glory, and I am currently employed with TCS on the designation of system engineer. And I am very glad and blessed to be part of this event today. And I'm here to share my 4-year journey with SISTec. And I will also be sharing some do's and don'ts or some points that my juniors can remember, and it will be really helpful for them also. So first of all, I would like with talking about SISTec. And SISTec is always known for having for nurturing its students in such a way that we become the all-rounders in real meaning. If I talk about myself, SISTec has provided me with multiple platforms where I can prove myself and achieve what I wish for. We all know that change is the new constant and everything around us, even we keep changing. So I can clearly say that we are not the same person that we were in our first year, right? So, and we have changed it drastically, be it our personality, education, our lifestyle, or our skill set. And I can proudly say that I have changed a lot, and that means a lot for me too. So I'll start from my first year when I was new at the course. I was introduced to the course. I was very skeptical. I was very innocent. I can say I was in so much of doubt. Like, will I be able to make it? And there were multiple questions into my mind. Like, will I be able to get the placements? Will I be able to study those tough subjects of engineering? Or will I be able to make my parents proud? And my first year passed out like this only. The first and second semester, I was continuously thinking and it went on. In second semester, when I was introduced to the department, I was very excited. Like, yes, finally now I'll be getting to learn those engineering subjects which will ultimately help in my placement. But suddenly in March 2019, the pandemic struck and we were all locked up in the rooms. At that time, I was very skeptical about my future because it took some time for the corporate world also to digitalize everything and to make everything online. So, looking at that time's current scenario, I was like, I don't know, I might not be able to achieve what I want. I might not be able to get my dream placement. And then came third year, and in the second year also, when we were in the homes, I lost motivation. Actually, what happens with everyone, or I can say with me especially, is that from first year itself, what we can say in 10th, 12th, all the time we had physical education. And the greatest source of motivation that I get to study or to do something is by looking at our classmates. When you are in class, you look everyone studying around. And then you realize that you also have to study because you need to do something great for yourself. So, and when we were all in the room, I didn't find anyone who was studying around me, that too in my background. So I was really demotivated, and my second year passed away like this only. I was so much confused, like what is going to happen and what will happen with my future. Then in the second year, in the third year, I slowly realized the importance of self-study. Talking about self-study, I would like to say that self-study is the only one thing that can help you achieve what you want. See, first of all, you need to decide what you want in your life, what you want in your career, where you want to be. And once you have decided, you need to take appropriate steps to achieve that particular goal. See, teachers are there, mentors are there, seniors are there to always guide you. But it is you who have to decide what you want, right? So at that time when I started realizing the importance of self-study, so now I would like to share a very good quote, like my favorite quote, it is by Swami Vivekananda ji.
which really motivates me, and I also want you people to listen, and it can really motivate to you people also. And it goes like, what is worse than losing everything in your life? What is worse than losing everything in your life? It is losing that one single hope on which you can get everything back. I'll translate in Hindi. सब कुछ खो देने से भी बुरा क्या होता है? सब कुछ खो देने से भी बुरा उस एक उम्मीद को खो देना होता है जिसके बल पे आप सब कुछ वापस पा सकते हो. So I was very motivated. Like this is something which always motivates me whenever I'm hopeless or I'm thinking that my life is not going or not going in the way I wanted it to be. I remember this thought and then I give my best to bring everything back to normal. So I started working on myself. I learned new technologies. I improved my skill set. And obviously, when you are at home, the biggest source of motivation is your parents. When you look your parents and what they are doing for you, they are always struggling. They are giving their everything. They are sacrificing everything for us so that we do not suffer from anything. And in turn, what they expect from us is a good and bright future. That is also from us only. They do not want anything in return. So I was very motivated with my parents. I wanted to make themselves proud of myself, and also the expectations of teachers and my department. Like my HOD and my department always, they had so much of expectation from me about everything. And sometimes I was skeptical. Why are they expecting so much? What will happen if I'm not able to fulfill all those expectations? What will they think about me? But then it went on, and I was studying and I was giving my best. And then came the final 4th year, for which we all are waiting. And 4th year is something like whenever you see a 4th year student, the first question that comes to your mind is he or she plays, what is his or her package? And I can say that from my experience because I also used to think the same thing when I was in 1st, 2nd and 3rd year looking to any 4th year student. And 4th year, especially 7th semester, was a roller coaster ride for me with all mixed feelings of anxiety, hope, fear, happiness, everything was mixed. And I was trying to give my best. And then came my first company, I will not take the name of that company, and I was rejected in the technical interview, which was a shock for me because I was sitting there, my interview went very well and I was expecting something good. And that too, if you are giving your first campus placement, you do have expectations from yourself. So when I was rejected, I was completely demotivated. I was like not able to eat for the 2 days. And I was at my home, my father understood my situation. He consoled me, he told me that this is not the last chance. My HOD, he personally called me and he told me that you will get something better, you don't need to worry, just keep trying, don't lose hope. And then I got motivated and I targeted 2 companies, Wipro and TCS. And in the subsequent months, I cracked both of them. My major focus was TCS, that to the digital profile, and I'm very glad that I have cracked, I cleared all the interviews, all the technical rounds, and secured the offer letter. And I'm also happy to share that I was onboarded last Thursday itself. Talking about my SAC, my Student Activity Council, the reason why I call it my, because I was a part of it from 1st year itself, and I feel it as one of my family itself. So, I'm glad to be part of the Student Activity Council. Right from 1st year, I was on the designation of branch coordinator, and then slowly on the designation of vice president, and finally the president. And this 4-year tenure at SAC has taught me so much. And it has inculcated so many of skills in me, which I can say managing teams, leading teams, and handling responsibilities, working under pressure, doing multitasking, and much more. So I also request all of the students, my juniors, to take part in extracurricular activities because it really helps you a lot in your overall development. And I have learned a lot of things in these 4 years, which I would like to share to my juniors and with everyone. And also my juniors can take a point of it if they find it relevant and important. So first thing I would like to say is that be energetic and open to learn.
See, everything is changing around us. The technology, the education system, infrastructure, everything is evolving at an exponential rate. So you need to be very adaptable. So you need to be active with learning whatever comes into your way. And when I'm talking about learning, it not only means learning coding and technical subjects. So you can be very good at technical subjects, but when it comes to presenting those things, you will be in a situation of looking at some other places that please go and present because you are good at technical. And I can say that from my experience. So you not only need to be good at technical studies, communication skills, English, cognitive skills are equally important, and you need to be good at them also. So please include them also in your focus areas. Be proactive, be participative in all extracurricular activities because it will socialize you, it will make you a good person, and it will also help you in your corporate world also. And yes, give your best, do more and more self-study, devote more time to self-study. Everyone is here to guide you. And yes, the most important thing, never ever lose hope. Everything happens for a reason, and you will be at the place where you want to be in your future. So I'd like to wind up. I think I've taken so much of time. And now, I would like to thank everyone who supported me in this 4-year tenure. Our principal, sir. Our principal, sir, is a great leader. Our TNP, Training and Placement Department, they have always working vigorously to in the complete 4 years. They have not ever missed any on-campus or off-campus opportunities. They have always kept us informed about everything that was coming to us. My HOD, my department, my teachers, and everyone of the SISTec family, my classmates, especially for always motivating me, and most importantly, my parents. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir, for inviting me here for the speech. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Preeti. And this event would be incomplete without felicitating our best performers, we are the play students. And for this ceremony, I would like to call on stage our respected MD sir is not here, I think. Yeah. Yeah. So to begin with, Honorable Director Ma'am, Dr. Jyoti Deshmukh, Principal, SISTec Gandhinagar Campus, Dr. Keshwin Chaudhary, Principal, SISTec Radhapuram Campus, Dr. Manish Billoi, Principal, SISTec, Dr. Kuldeep Gandu, Group Head, Corporate Relations, Ms. Prachi. We have categorized our awards in a way which will definitely show you the essence of the diversity or the diversity of our placement records. And for that, we will start with highest multiple offers earned for the year. And to present this award, I would like to call on stage Mr. Joshua David from Mphasis. The award is backed by Mr. Chirag Jain from CSE. So we have with us our respective Manning Dityaso. So Chirag Jain from Computer Science and Engineering Department. Not available here? Okay. Moving to the next award. For this, I would like to announce this is the highest CTC Achiever of the Year. Highest CTC Achiever of the Year, and it is backed by none other than Devendra Gaur of EC. He got selected in Digicomm, Semiconductor, Bengaluru, with a package of 14 lakhs per annum. And the next award is for Distinguished Placement of the Year.
Best Profile Grabber. And for this, I would like to call on stage Mr. Chandramohan Atri from Tata Steel. And it is backed by Mr. Rohit Raghuvanshi from CS, System Engineer, Project Engineer, Business Analyst, Full Stack Developer. Is he there? The next award is for Digital Leader. And the award is backed by Preeti Kumari from SISTec Glory CS1. The next award is for Best Placement of Easy. That is Innocent Achiever. Let your success make the noise. And it is backed by Deepak Kumar Shah, for celebrating Hela and Herman. And before we move to the next award, I would like to call on stage Mr. Kalairasu Ranganathan, Deputy Manager from Netlink. Because the next award is for Best Project Lead. And the winner is, for the award is backed by Vinayak Acharya from SISTec Glory CS Department, who got selected in TCS and Netlink as a project lead. Moving to the next award, and it is for Best Practitioner. And I would like to call on stage Ms. Tanima Mitra from TCS to join us. And the award is backed by Akriti Kumari Bhatt from Electrical Department. She got selected in Fluid Technologies. Okay. The next award is for Core Marketeer. And it is backed by Anshul Raj from Mechanical Department. He was selected in SM Technologies. And the next award is for Inter-Domain Performer. And it is backed by Akash Ahirwar. From Civil Engineering. Next we have with us Best Tech Designer. And for this, I would like to call on stage Mr. Manish Pandey from KPMG. And it is backed by Hani Pawar from Mechanics. The next is Best Brand Achiever, and it is backed by Mr. Aman Namdev from MBA, SISTec MBA. Yeah, I would request HOD SISTec MBA, Mr. Somen Mitra, to come on stage. The next award is for Dream Award Achiever. And it is backed by Ghulam Waris. He has backed the offer from Bharat Biotech. We have the same many times in the last couple of years. And the last award for the day, Best Profile Achiever. It is backed by Mr. Shubham Chaurasia. We can have Pradeep Kanusar. And Shubham Chaurasia got placed in pharmacy.
HRs to please come on stage and request you to please do. Yes, for a group photograph. I request Ram to please join us.
Thank you. Coming to the closure, shall I now call upon Dr. Keshwendra Chaudhary, Principal, SISTec Glory. Please come up on the stage, deliver the word from clarity.
Today's event was a wonderful event. Uh, I, I would like to say, if academics are the heart of any institution, then placement is the regenerator for the sustainability of art. Good afternoon to all the honorable guests, honorable managing director, director, principals, vice principal, administrator, HODs, group head, corporate relation and team, faculty members, and all my dear students. I feel honored and privileged to get the opportunity to propose a vote of thanks on this special occasion, SISTec Glory 2K22. I would like to thank all the guests and panelists for their valuable presence, who blessed our students with their great talk and discussion about corporate etiquettes and managing multidimensional growth. Tanima Mitra, Head HR TCS, Joshua David, Campus Lead India, Mphasis, Vipin Bhavani, Advanced Analyst EY, Ekta Dwivedi, HR Business Partner Tech Mahindra, Devendra Mishra, Deputy Manager HR Hexaware. Dear, thank you so much for accepting our invitation to grace our students and also to act like the regenerator of the heart of our institution by providing our students the placement of their choice. Words are not enough to thank you for your support, because without you, it was not possible to think about SISTec Glory. It is true that time is money, and so you all have spent millions for us. Thank to all of you for making this event successful. I thank Vinayak Acharya from NetLink, Samit Tiwari from HEG Limited, and Akash Sidhwani and Priyanka Chaube from Woodcard for their presence as our valuable recruiter. My hearty thanks to our Honorable Chairman, Sri Sudhir Agarwal sir, and Managing Director, Sri Siddharth Agarwal sir, for their unconditional, constant, and valuable guidance for successful conduction of this program. I am very much thankful to Director Dr. Jyoti Deshmukh for her presence and involvement during planning and conduction of SISTec Glory. Principal SISTec Rativar, Dr. Manish Villode, and Group Head Corporate Relations, Ms. Prachi Srivastava. Thank you both for successfully moderating the panel discussion and also to make this event amazing. Again, I thank Ms. Prachi Srivastava and her team to coordinate with all the corporate guests for their presence at SISTec campus and make all our beloved students the happiest person. I thank our training team head, Mr. Badal Bose, and his team for this wonderful anchoring. I thank our dear students who got selected in the placement drive organized by our institute, and that is the only reason that we could organize SISTec Glory. This type of event cannot happen overnight. We have been fortunate enough to be backed by a team of very motivated and dedicated students, volunteers. I cannot thank everyone for the involvement they have shown and the willingness they have expressed to take on the completion of tasks beyond their comfort zones. So the sincere thanks to all the crew student members of corporate relations who are always ready to take any task related to placement related matter. It is very important to thank admin team without whom no one can think to make any program successful. Thank you admin team for your hearty support in conduction of this program. My sincere thanks to Mr. Amardeep Singh and his team for preparing very tasty food and providing so good hospitality to our guests. I thank all the support staff for their physical presence in organizing and making everything systematic. I feel proud and thank you all for making this event a successful one. I may have left name of many persons who have played very important role in organizing SISTec Glory. I thank to all of them for their valuable contribution. Once again, thank you all and have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Now, I heartily request to Mr. Shamit Tiwari, to Team NetLink and to Team ISC Courtyard to please come on stage for their respective address to the students, which is pending due to some urgent work. Our MD sir is not here as of now, so but we request to continue our felicitation before that. So accept my humble request to Mr. Shamit Tiwari, Mr. Ranganathan and Mr. Abhishek, and Team ISC.
Hello. So hi, good afternoon everyone. काफी अच्छा लग रहा है सबको लोगों को देख के. Thanks to the SISTec management for inviting me such a great place. Initially, we were talking about culture. So, being a Bhopalite, I belong to Bhopal only, having 16 years of experience in HR. SISTec is not new to me, Sagar Group. So, मैं बचपन से देखता आ रहा हूँ. Culture starting से top से create होता है. When I see the management of Sagar Group, their humbleness, जिस भी फील्ड में सागर ग्रुप जाता है वहाँ पे एक अपने आप की अपनी गुडविल क्रिएट करता है. So be it into education, be it into some other field, be it into manufacturing, they have already created their goodwill. So you are in, don't worry, you all are in safe hands, especially the guys who are pursuing their education. And young generation के लिए मैं एक चीज बोलना चाहूँगा कि when you are in your 20s and before 30s, so इस एज में पैशन आप लोगों को ड्राइव करता है. पैशन बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज होती है. और जब आप 30 क्रॉस कर देते हो तो आपके अंदर पेशेंस आने लगता है. ठीक है, बट जब पैशन होता है तो पेशेंस नहीं होता है. और जब पेशेंस वाली स्टेज आती है तो कहीं ना कहीं लोग पैशन मिस करने लगते हैं. तो जैसा कि मनीष जी ने बोला था कि आप जिस चीज को चाहते हो उस चीज को फॉलो करो, अपने आप चीजें अपने आप होती जाएगी. यू नॉट नीड टू वरी अबाउट. बट एक चीज हमेशा ध्यान रखना, मेहनत हमेशा करना है. मार्केट में हमेशा अपने आप को अपडेट करना है. ग्रोथ की जब हम बात करते हैं, यू हैव टू सस्टेन देयर. अपॉर्चुनिटी सबको मिल जाती है, किसी का कॉन्फिडेंस लेवल अच्छा होता है, इंटरव्यू क्रैक कर लेता है. बट टू सस्टेन देयर यू मस्ट नीड टू अपडेट योरसेल्फ. तो यही बोलना चाहूंगा, P स्क्वायर फंडा हमेशा याद रखना. पैशन के साथ अगर यंग एज में पेशेंस आ गया आपके अंदर तो आप बहुत आगे जाओगे, बहुत अच्छा कर पाओगे. थैंक यू सो मच. गॉड ब्लेस यू.
Hello everybody, how's everyone? Josh here. How's everybody? I'm not going to continue till you're going to reply to me, huh? How's everybody? Better? Right? What are you getting, waiting for the motivation? I mean, why are you waiting for that motivation? What's the driven factor for you? Now, why do I ask this question, right? Now life शुरू होने वाला है. For a lot of you, right? A new life's gonna take a turn. You guys gonna go to the job, and there was this question about growth and this question about culture. Now, let's tweak the perception a little, right? We talked about the growth of you. What about the growth of company? Yeah. Good question. Simple business. I get more clients, I get more money. I pay you better, right? You get your appraisals, everything done, right? So I want you guys to ask yourself this question today, right? For a lot of you who wishes to know growth. This is, I think, one advice I gave to one of your fellow members, right? What are you going to put in the table? Be responsible. The most ugly word you'll ever hear. Right now, somebody else is taking responsibility to you. Right? You're learning, your growth, your teachers are responsible right now. That era is done. Now you're in a battlefield where you're responsible for yourself. You're responsible for deliveries. And you're responsible for your stress. You're responsible for your overtime. Right? Why do I say this? There's one very good line in Hindi we use a lot, which is the biggest taboo of India, I would say. Chalta hai bhai. Chalta hai. Right? College mein chalta hai, you are paying. Right? Office mein nahi chalta. Office is free. Right? So, yes, I would say take responsibility and ask right questions, because I saw very few people ask questions today. If you want to know about your growth, ask questions related to your growth. You want to know about your placement, ask questions related to your placement. That's how you'll grow anywhere and everywhere. And that's it, guys. I hope you enjoy the rest of the day, and good everybody.
Hi, good afternoon everyone. My name is Akash, and today I'm presenting here Scorecard India Software Private Limited. So in our company culture, basically we recruit people when they are in their 6th semester or 7th semester. What is our purpose to recruit them? To train them on what platform our company is working. जब वो ऑन बोर्ड हो तो उन्हें एग्जैक्टली पता हो कि उन्हें किस प्लेटफॉर्म पे काम करना है, किस स्किल्स पे काम करना है, हमारी कंपनी के प्रोडक्ट क्या है, राइट? Secondly, also we have got so many advice from our HR leaders who are very experienced. I must tell you 5 things. You need to take care in your growth. You keep in mind where you are present and will be after 1 year or 2 years. Your financial growth, your mentally growth, your education growth, your learning, and where you want to be a pro in your future, right? So be confident, which is very, very important. And in terms of communication, I must say, be fluent in whatever language you are talking. Because communication is not defined by one language. English is mandatory, I knew it, but आप जिस भी लैंग्वेज में बात कर रहे हो, आपको अपनी बात प्रेजेंट करनी आनी चाहिए, which is very, very important. All right. And lastly, I wish you all the best for the upcoming future leaders and all the students. And thank you so much, SISTec, for having us here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Now, after closing note, we have to do this, you know why? Because out of a surprise element, one of our alumni, last year alumni, is here with us, and he fly down right from Hyderabad just to interact with you. So keen to address you, so keen to be present at this particular stage. Allow me to welcome Mr. Sumit Vijay. He was working as a Salesforce engineer at Mphasis, Hyderabad.
Hey, hello everyone. How are you?
Fine.
So welcome to corporate. It's not. Are you excited for that, or I know you all lost your energy, but are you guys excited for corporate, or you are nervous? No, it's not a chilling life there. So excited or not? I'm not listening much voice from the back. You are excited? Yes. You are excited? Yes. Okay. So I will share my experience. Like I was at your place before 1 year, and it was not easy for me also to take a placement and join a company. I got offer letter from the Mphasis at 20th of January, and Rachimam told me you have to join by 1st of February. I was like, nothing I know how I will join. Anyhow I got the offer, but it's not easy to got the offer and go there and you have to do work. Because what happens is, once we done our college life, we thought, okay, we got the offer now, we'll chill now. We have a job. Because most of the people are not having job as of now, and we are having job. So I will do, no, nothing we have to do now. We have job, that's it. But no, your journey is started now. So once you will be in corporate, first phase of your corporate journey will be the training part, and I would say that is the most important thing for you, because whatever you are learning in your first company, that will be like, that will decide your future, because it's not like you have some computer science background so you will do coding there. No, there are multiple fields, but you have to choose that field on which you have to do work in the next couple of years, because it's not like a vacation. Vacation you will go for 7 days, you will again come back, okay, we were relaxed for last 7 days and now nothing. So work is like you have to do every day, and if you don't love your work, it will be like stress. I don't feel any stress in corporate till now. Because why? I was in development phase earlier. But I know I don't have any interest in the development. So I talked to my training manager. They told me, okay, so where you want to go, in which profile? They told me BA. No, I said no, BA also I not want. Even I was not able to decide by myself what I have to do. But what thing we need to do is, till 7 months I not got any project there. Till 7 months. And I was like, okay, I'm getting salary now, why I will go back to the HR and why I'll ask for project? Because I'm getting salary anyhow. People think, okay, paisa aa hai na, kya hi karna hai? Even I think the same. But it's not like you are being there for 7 months and you are not getting project, then you did nothing in training, and I did nothing in the training, I am saying. Because I was like, paisa aa raha hai. But wo paisa zyada din tak nahi aane wala hai. Why? Because you haven't done training period. You haven't taken it seriously. Because I was last ranker in the training period. But when I assigned into the project, I talked to my project manager, and I will be always grateful for her to realize me that things, okay, now I am in corporate. Because what happens is, if you not talk to people, people will not come. Here, if you not submit your assignment, your teacher will say, okay, beta submit kar do. But there they will not say you, and they will just tell you, you are not performing. You have to perform. Once my manager told me there is no emotions in corporate. And that is the time I started realizing, no, I have to do something if I have to be in this company. Even from SISTec, we have placed 7 students there, and I am the alone which is working there. Everybody leaves the job. Because my intention was, okay, that time, no, I have to be here only because I came from the background where all are software engineers in my family. 2-3% are in USA, 2-3 are in India, and they are working in the reputed company. So they always told me like, okay, you have to be in a fun company. What is happening is people are changing company because of LPA, but it's not about LPA. What you have to do is, once you got the project in the company, and if you are not getting project in the company, you have to go to the HR. I'm not getting project in the company. Why? If you are not capable to handle the project, they will assign you in some boot camp. But you have to go there because they will not come to you. As one person said in the stage, okay, now we are paying, but there they are paying. So you have to be focused on that. And I would say, like, if you want to more focused on your career in the next couple of years, and what I observe in 1 year is, you have to choose the right path. Because if you are not choosing the right path, you will be feeling stressed every day. Because I did the same. I was in development phase, and every day was stress for me. I said, no, I will not do job. But my manager told me, no, you can do, and we will never terminate you. Because they know the capabilities of me. In the starting 2 tests of my training, I was last ranker there. And people who joined with me from this college only, they were like, they assigned into the project, and it was like a stress for me. They are getting projects, I am not getting. So it's not about when you are starting, when you are assigning into the projects. And now I am very happy to say I am in multiple projects I am working. In a 5 projects I am working, and we have one very critical client. I will not say the name. And one girl came from Cognizant. Sorry, but she came from Cognizant, and everybody was, once you assign into the client project, you have to do the interview. You have to give them if client want. So they told me, okay, now you have to give the interview, and we have capabilities, and they mentioned in my resume I have 3 years of experience. People from America, I never talked to the people from USA. They just told me you have to give the interview. Because in corporate you don't know what thing will come to you when. You have to do. They are saying means you have to do, it's not your college. They came to me, okay, you have to give the interview, and from that day only one girl joined from the another company. She is experienced person. She has given the interview, she got qualified. I was afraid if she is having 4 years of experience, she is not qualified, how I can? Because they mentioned in my resume I have 3 years of experience, which is more afraid for me, okay, how I will qualify for that. And it was like USA time and Indian time which not matched. So she scheduled my interview at 9:30. I was in hostel. In hostel, it's very difficult to give interview at 9:30 in the night. Whole day I was like working in the company, and at 9 or 8:30, my manager told me you have to give interview at 9:30 in the night. I am working from 10 to 7, and in the night 30 also I was in office. I have gave that interview. She was US client, and first time it was I am talking with some US persons. So she told me if you face any accent issue, I will pose the question in the chat box. Still, I was afraid in how I can talk with US person, because she was like, I will not about what is this, what is this. You just have to share your screen. I will give you a scenario and you have to perform. In the starting phase of interview, she told me, you have to perform the scenario. It's not about what is this, what is this. So I have given that interview and even my whole company was surprised. I have qualified the interview. So you even, it's not about you are starting late, but you have to start good. I started late. In the last 8 months, I have covered 5 projects in the company with Australian clients, American clients, and Indian clients. It was amazing journey for me. I struggled a lot in the training period, but once I realized it's like, no, I have to do. And I start doing, and from that time, I am doing whatever I'm getting from my managers, my mentors, and yeah, I will definitely say if you are getting offers from any company, just be there for 1 or 2 years, not it's like okay 3 months I'm done and again I will go for another company. It will give you like okay, you will be fresher. If you see from my batch, still people are giving training only, and from my batch some people are getting promotion. Why? Because they are selecting company after 3 months, 2 months, they are going and they are joining another company. So it will be very difficult for you. So they are like, okay, 22 batch is pass out, 21 is also pass out, but they are also giving training. So it's not beneficial for you for go for the LP and also just be in a company. If you don't like, also be there. You will be get something, and I will be rewarded there. I even can't expect they will be rewarded like me. I will not open that, but I will be rewarded there. And Mphasis is like precious company. If any one of you got the offer letter from here, I think they have done the right here also. So if you got offer letter from there, I am saying just join. You will struggle there, I know, because they are very conscious about the performance. You will struggle there, but if you are working, they will give you everything. So just be in a one company. It's not like moving a company from 3 months, 2 months. You are going to another company. Just be in a one company, learn there, and work on yourself. You will get whatever you want, and you will get early promotions if you done. If you do a job in a one company for a long time, you will get early promotion. So just try to don't be as a fresher. Just complete your 6 months, get a project, and then move for the company. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to seek advice from you. सारे लोग experience share कर रहे हैं, मेरे को भी एक छोटा सा experience share करना है. It was only yesterday that I made a phone call to Preeti Kumari. She didn't pick up the phone, and I was like, अच्छा, बच्चे बड़े हो गए. And I received a message that I'm into a meeting. I'll call you back. Then the second day goes, अच्छा, बच्चे बड़े हो गए. So this is the difference, and I want everybody when I call you, cut the phone. झूठा नहीं, सच्चा सच्चा. Cut the phone and put down the message that I am in a meeting. I'll call you back. So that was all about having this glory to. Thank you all for being patient and celebrating. Thank you. And then the boys and girls, you'll be moving down with me downstairs to the badminton court. Who will be, yes, no? Yes. And